Hey everybody, it's Wood. I sit alongside Keith.
And this is So What You Saying. We got our asses kicked last week.
Yeah,
because we kept fucking around. We kept saying Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
So a lot of Caddyshack fans.
Well, we corrected ourselves a number of times, though.
I think it was about after a minute and a half after keep saying Kenny Loggins. It was Kenny Rogers. We apologize.
Yeah, and we know that now.
We knew that sober. We didn't know that.
A bottle of vodka later.
Would we sit here with a mask off? What's a mask off, bro?
Yeah, guys, if this is your first time, and for those of you that heard this spiel before, just hang on, but I'm going to get through it because we usually pick up a lot of new listeners on these mask offs. And what a mask off is when we bring somebody in the Woodshed here and we get to know them a little bit better. They do something different than we do. They're definitely better at it.
Always better.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And then we peel that mask back. We get to know them, get to know what they're about and what it is they do. So, to our guest, who are you? What's your name? And what is it that you do?
Well, good afternoon. My name is Nancy Sheena. I'm a nurse practitioner in dermatology. I professionally look at skin all day long. So I have the honor of seeing about 25 naked people a day.
Badass.
Wow. Wow.
I get paid a lot of money to do that. It's pretty serious.
So is that better than like I would imagine? When I knew you were coming over, I got a lot of questions about similar there, and then I think, okay, I don't want you to answer this question yet, but you decide, okay, I want to look at people's skin, because then you say you look at a lot of naked people, and then there's the guys that are like, well, I'm going to go into gynecology because I get look at a lot of naked people. Don't answer that. We'll get back to it.
Fair enough.
That's where my mind goes.
When I hear somebody that looks at a lot of skin, I think of the porn industry, where my mind goes. That's my upbringing. All right, so when we have a mask-off guest, we like to ask them some questions just to warm them up a little bit, all right? This is you in this day and age with your hand sanitizer and the gloves, right? You're going in to see somebody. Is it cancer? Is it herpes? I don't know. Let's find out, right?
Right on.
All right, do you owe Blockbuster any money?
I do not.
So when they went out of business, you had a clean slate.
Totally.
Ooh.
Oh, what a rule follower.
There's a new question from you. I like that. Yeah.
What's your favorite animal?
Oh, God. Human beings. I don't really care for animals. They're messy and dirty. I like people. I can handle their messiness.
Because they can shower themselves, right?
Yeah, but they can also talk back.
It's true.
Animal, how do you not like dogs? How was dog not your answer?
One dog, it didn't work out. She died after a year and a half, 2 years with us, and that was enough.
You got to
for
feed
me.
them. You do know that, right?
I know, but once they vomit and poop everywhere, you get over it pretty quick.
In the game of Monopoly, what piece are you?
The iron.
Why?
I have absolutely no idea. I think it just runs smooth, but the irony is I don't even own an iron, so I don't know why. I don't know why that was always attractive to me.
A steamer and a dryer.
Yeah.
Last time you hand wrote and mailed a letter.
Oh, you're gonna be so impressed. With this self isolation and trying to keep away social distancing and all this. I wrote a letter to an elderly person that I know just to brighten their day. How fucking awesome.
So you
That's badass.
Thank you.
And then sent your Corona to them.
I did.
Awesome. Fantastic.
And it was written on a Christmas card because I had no other cards at all.
Oh, so it was just recent. It wasn't Christmas time.
No,
it was
like 5 days ago.
Do they live in state or out of state?
In state.
That's fantastic.
That's even cooler because you could have handed it to them.
Yes, exactly.
And they probably loved that. And lastly, which era do you wish you were born in?
Oh, that's easy. That would be late 70s. I just love that crossover between funk and when rock started coming back. It was good times all the way. Good music.
What's funk for you? You Parliament?
Parliament, P-Funk, absolutely.
Okay, and what's rock coming back? Is that Kiss with the makeup?
Absolutely. Was a huge Gene Simmons fan as a kid. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you watch his reality show?
No, I have not had an actual TV in 10 years, so I missed out on anything popular culture in the last 10 to 20 years.
We all know you can afford a TV. Why don't you have a TV?
I absolutely find commercials egregious. I hate listening to commercials. So.
There's Netflix out there?
Netflix and Amazon Prime all the way.
Okay, so you just don't have the regular local stations.
Right.
You screw that
garbage, totally.
Yeah,
all right.
I can get behind that.
Our guest introduces our snaggles. What are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking Porter's Small Batch Straight Rye Whiskey. remain loyal, remain true.
All right. And who's that on the bottle? That face you saw? You said it was Jesus or Charles Manson?
I still don't know the difference, and I think they're about one and the same. So, you know, whatever you feel comfortable with your leader. So.
Our atheist listeners are gonna love that answer right
Oh
there.
yeah, they are. Oh
All
yeah,
right,
they
so
are.
you're a dermatologist.
I'm a nurse practitioner in dermatology. The difference is I have a master's degree. It allows me to write for the same prescriptions and whatnot. However, I cannot perform more extensive surgeries and whatnot. But pretty sweet deal considering, you know, a bachelor's degree in nursing is 4 years. A graduate degree is two to 3 years. And a physician needs to go undergrad 4 plus 4 years of medical school plus 4 years of residency. That's 12 plus fellowship. You're looking at 12 to 14 years. And, you know, it's pretty similar in scope. It's
okay.
pretty
Wow.
sweet deal. Let everyone, don't tell anyone actually.
All right, let's get this way right off top. You see the shirt I got on, right?
Yes.
I wore this shirt.
Yes, sir.
Specifically for you. This
Yes.
is how you get down. Even though you don't play sports, you know what
Yeah.
this is.
I know the fanatical Boston residents.
Where you
yes.
from, Nancy?
I am from Framingham, Massachusetts.
How far outside of Boston is that? What?
It is exactly 12 miles outside of the the greater Boston limits. Yes.
You spent some time in Boston,
I
didn't
sure
you?
did, yeah.
My girl. What made you want to be a doctor that looks at people's skin? Like, I'm always curious about that. When somebody, you know, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be this. So
Yeah,
you're
how do you choose your
I'm a
direction?
knee doctor, I'm an ass doctor, I'm a back doctor, and you're a skin doctor.
I did think for a while, you know, maybe, you know, an ass doctor sounds like a great, no, I didn't want to get sick of that. So, no, it actually fell into my lap, and this is actually, it was a midlife crisis decision, actually. So I was going along, I was a regular nurse in hospitals and surgery, good times.
Back
and then
east?
No, here in Utah for
Okay.
15 years.
Oh, wow.
And I looked around the room and I said, what, you know, there's nothing else for me to do except for this or some move, you know, horizontal, not lateral. And I was like, I got to get moving on something more interesting. So I went to graduate school to be a nurse practitioner, and I have a fond affection for, you know, the underserved. I was all ready to work in a community health center with the underserved people, and I had a job all lined up here. And this dermatology thing actually just fell into my lap. I got super lucky, and it is the best gig in town.
The
Wow.
best gig in town.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So you're looking at people's funguses. You got rashes disguised as herpes. You got herpes disguised as eczema. You know, you run into a lot of shit. How many times a day do you wash your hands in this
Oh my
climate,
gosh!
especially?
So
All
if
the
I see
time.
about 25 people a day, that's about. I wash them when I come in the room. I wash them when I come out. That's about 50 times a day at least, plus
least.
bathrooms. But you know, the vast majority of my patients are old, crusty farmers. You know, Utah's like a plethora of skin cancer. There's nothing.
Yeah, it is out in the
It's
sun
like-
all the time.
I know all you blonde,
terrible.
blue-eyed people. You're like, I mean, it's like a nonstop parade of cancer. It's unbelievable.
Can you spot that? Like, have you? Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Have you
It's-
ever been out to a restaurant or something and you looked over and glanced and saw skin cancer on somebody? Do you tell them, "Hey, you got skin cancer"?
Oof, that's a good question. It's a hard balance between, you know, terrifying somebody and, you know, sliding your card. Yeah, you need to come see me, or just saying, you know,
Well, you got a boat payment, so that's like the card.
no, man, I got no toys. I'm no fun. No, I actually, I usually don't say anything because I just really don't want to infringe on people's privacy. But, you know,
On that slow, steady march towards death, is what you,
But I
you can help them out.
I imagine it's like a carpenter that goes into somebody's house, or people that take care of lawns for a living. You know, they walk up to my house and they're looking at my lawn like, you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, carpenters, they walk in and they're like, your woodwork's shit here. So is that you walk around all day and look at people like, what are you doing to yourself?
Yeah, there's a lady with some super severe acne in the checkout counter at Smith's that I really wanted to say, I can make you really beautiful. I can make you attractive. People want to fuck you. It'll be great. Come see me. You know?
So let's talk about acne, because acne kicks in. That has something to do with hormones, because you don't get that shit till you're like, what, 12, 13, 14,
I've
right?
got a couple of teenage kids that are struggling with that right now.
Yeah.
And what happened with that market? Because I remember coming up, there was Oxy Wash with the pads. Remember the pads?
Yes.
And it was Noxzema. You're supposed to wash your face
Yeah.
with that shit all the time. Does that help? That
Not
type of shit?
really.
No, it's bullshit. Okay.
It's total bullshit.
So what is up? Is acne what you eat? Is it how often you wash your face? You're supposed to wash your face with warm water and then rinse it off with cold water. Is that true?
You know, anything goes, but in reality, it's broken down to about 3 different things, and the ratio is I'd say, one third, although everyone's different. But, one is just your genetics. Like, you look at your mom and dad. Do they have acne as a kid? Are they prone to inflammation? 2 is just your age. So when you're a teenager, you got all those hormones flowing, and
Right.
that all those hormones cause inflammation, which can worsen your acne. And 3,
my hormones definitely cause inflammation. I'll tell you that shit.
they're running high.
A lot of alone time.
That's why you're right-handed. Your right arm muscle is so big. Okay. And, the third would be the diet. Unfortunately, nobody wants to hear this, but garbage food is not good for you. It causes inflammation. So sugar, dairy, all that good stuff. It makes your face look like
Dairy?
shit. Yes, dairy is inflammatory for sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what is a zit?
Oh my gosh, don't ask me hard questions I can't answer. Less technically, you've got your skin is on top, right? Below your skin, you've got your pore. And then way below your pore, you got this oil glands. The oil glands is pumping out oil. It's kind of overactive while you're in puberty. But then your pore is doing this inflammatory thing where it's like squeezing on all that oil that's stuck down there. And then you have just normal bacteria, P. acne vulgaris bacteria that's hanging out in your pores anyway, right? So it just, all that shit just gets caught in there, and it's a big gross mess. So the more you fuck with it, the worse it is.
Okay,
Right?
so-
So if you squeeze on it, it's
Don't
going to
pop
get
a
worse.
zit.
No, just let it all be. But of course nobody's going to do that.
No.
Fucking crazy bitch I used to date in high school's right.
Don't pop
See, she never popped her zits.
Yes.
I'd be sitting there talking to her, and she'd have this little white head. Little cute girl.
Right.
Kind of looked like Anita Baker, right? She'd have these little white fucking zits all over, and I'd be like, why don't you pop those? She goes, it's not good to pop your zits. I'm like, fuck that. And I'd be trying to pop her zits because it made me sick. I didn't want to pop. When you're in high school, you think it's going to
Yes.
pop in your eye when
Yeah,
you get close.
yeah.
But she was right, so don't pop your zits.
No, because it'll take way more time to heal, like the whole healing process. Then it's, all your cytokines come in, all this inflammatory storm comes in. It just takes a longer time. Plus, it doesn't invite for more bacteria.
So
once you've made a mess.
where does all that, all the stuff in the whitehead that you could see that when I pop it, it comes out? Where does it go then if I don't touch it? Because in my mind, it's like absorbing back and going to another pore. And now I got this one plus half of that one, and now it's just
like
multiplying.
contagious,
Yeah,
no.
it's spreading everywhere.
No, those are just like your cleanup crew. So your all that white stuff is just like, it's your cleanup crew. They're there, they're doing their job. The damage is done at that point by the time the white stuff has shown up. So sure, if you washed your face and it opened on its own, fine. But, listen to your grandma. If your grandma told you to soak it in hot water, do a little steam, perfectly fine. But nowadays, don't let anyone suffer out there with acne. There's no, I think all of us who were born in all this older generation, it's like, that's a rite of passage. You must have acne. You must go through this suffering
I
teenage
hated
years.
that shit when I was a kid.
There's
Hated
no
it.
reason. You can have beautiful skin. There's no reason to suffer through that and ruin your self-esteem as a teenager. Come see us. Like, come get on Accutane. It's super easy. You don't have to be an ugly teenager and change. We can change the trajectory of your entire life. People want to have sex with you at an earlier age.
Okay, I was going to bring my kids to come and see you,
No.
and then there's that, and that's never happening.
Then she started promoting teen pregnancies. When she started
Sorry, I didn't know. I thought. I don't know. I just thought the context of this podcast. That would be an.
Oh no!
It
no,
is. It is.
You're
It is.
fitting
I'm not
suited.
promoting
You're fitting
teen
suited.
pregnancy. Totally fine.
All right, so acne picks where it's coming out because you see some people. I remember being in the locker room. Some guys got backs that look like a sand
yeah.
pit.
Yeah. Aw.
Why, and their face wouldn't be bad, but their
Right.
back would look like like a fucking porcupine without the quills. You know what I mean?
I hear you. A lot of guys actually testosterone supplementation. So, injectables or those weird suppositories people are putting in their ass now. I don't know if you heard about this.
Yes.
It's like a thing.
have?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a thing. Right?
Oh, the hormones in
Yes,
your
the
ass.
hor-
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Oh, people are
yes.
strange.
They're so strange. That will totally cause acne. So I have like a rash of good looking 30, 40, 50-year-old guys with like horrible acne, and they're like, well, why you have acne? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I haven't had acne since I was a teenager. And like, any chance you're doing testosterone supplementation? Oh no, absolutely not. And like, well, that can cause this. And I can? Well, I am. So, it's just like...
Because the skin don't lie.
No.
The skin, that's the largest organ that the body has,
Right.
correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, we need to treat it as such. So, obviously, a lot of water and such, right?
Right.
And,
Healthy, good...
and keeping it clean.
Yes.
All right, so during this coronavirus situation, you can tell I have melon in my skin,
Yes.
right? A lot of it, right?
Yes.
I've been washing my hands so much, it looks like I've been erasing a chalkboard with my bare fucking hand. Okay? So what do I need to do now for lotion? Because I normally use cocoa butter.
Yes.
Or I use shea butter. How's that? Shea butter's good?
Totally fine.
Cocoa butter, shea butter.
Whatever.
But I'm
Aveeno.
washing that shit off all the time. No, this shit's got whips Aveeno's ass.
Oh,
This shit,
I love it.
usually-
That's what makes my hands
But
You
soft
look
like a
ashy
baby.
from here,
look
honestly.
ashy as a motherfucker.
Your mother would be really sad right now looking at your knuckles like ashy.
Okay, don't dog me, okay? I'm keeping Corona free, but you understand what I'm talking about,
Yes.
right? And you know the brothers need to keep the lotion on.
I know.
So what can I use to help mitigate this bullshit I got going on from washing my hands so much?
So listen, the amount that you're washing your hands, you dry them and you put lotion on. So the same every time. So you're not normally doing that, right? You're normally just doing it in the morning and at night. So every time you wash your hands, you dry them, you got to put lotion on again. So as much times as you wash them, you're gonna moisturize.
Do you know
them.
how much I pay for my creams and shit, man?
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
so I'm to the point now where I don't even put it on no more. So keep putting it on, because if not, my hands will crack.
Yes. The other thing too is you can put on just straight up Vaseline or Aquaphor at night. Put some white gloves on and go to sleep.
Take it easy, buddy. You said Vaseline, and this mind like he's like. How come you're only
You know
putting
you
it
have
on the right palm, Keith?
You know
Up
you
to
have
my
some-
elbow, huh? So petroleum jelly is good for your skin.
Yeah, it's just like it just protects it. It's like a goopy Band-Aid, so it keeps everything in. Your skin will heal itself. It's totally magical. We human beings are amazing at healing ourselves, right? You just gotta set the stage, let it do its business. So if you keep excoriating the outside, you'll never be able to protect your skin. But it's just a skin protectant. It literally just covers, lets the magic happen on its own.
When I was 10 years old, I remember being with my cousin Paul, and he used the last of the lotion. So I took Vaseline and put it on my face, and I felt like I was underwater on fire. You know what I mean? Just how humid it is in Boston. You
Yes.
know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
How humid it is, and I'm outside, and I'm just like, oh, God, I can't breathe.
I'm
you know?
dying.
So, you don't advise putting petroleum jelly on your face, do you?
Oh, you totally can. In fact, like probably like my best looking older patients, you know, these little old ladies they're beauty secret. They've been putting Vaseline on their, like where they would get wrinkles around their eyes and whatnot.
Where their crow's feet at, they're putting that
Yes,
Vaseline.
yes.
Interesting.
Vaseline, the cheapest remedy out there. Don't knock Vaseline. It is good stuff.
Is Aquaphor different then
It's
from Vaseline?
fancy Vaseline.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I like Aquaphor, and I don't. In my mind, it's different, but because it doesn't feel like my skin is smothering, like Keith said. I don't feel like it's. When I put Vaseline or Aquaphor on, Aquaphor not as much, but Vaseline, I feel like I like my skin can't breathe. So when I do that, now I feel like I'm going to get acne on my hands and my arms and everywhere else. It doesn't feel like it can breathe. So
No.
Aquaphor is just fancy. Okay, it's the same
Yeah,
damn
you're
thing.
totally fine.
Oh.
So you talk about the old ladies allegedly putting Vaseline on their face.
Yes.
Let's talk about vitamin E. And without me being a perv, vitamin E, is that good for your skin? Because that's what,
It's bullshit. I mean,
It
all
is?
of it is bullshit. So basically,
that's how I got through high school.
you just use whatever was in the medicine cabinet. I get it.
That was my story.
It goes great
I
on your
got
face, I promise.
Whatever got you through the night, literally.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you know, I love all the bullshit out there. You know, this is release your toxins. You know, it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
bullshit. I mean, your skin, you're not absorbing anything and you're not excreting. You got your internal organs for that. Your kidney and your liver do the most of the, excreting. But your absorption mostly is coming through your mouth. Sure, you're absorbing vitamin D, but the vitamin E, nothing's going inside of you to make such a huge chemical difference. You know, great. If you have a scar and you're using vitamin E ointment, it's really the process of massaging it and bathing it and loving your scar. It's not so much the vitamin E. It's really just your fingers loving it every day. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So what about these? So now the THC creams, cannabis creams.
Oh.
What's your opinion on all of that? Then is it a gimmick just to sell marijuana in a different form?
I totally agree. Yes, it's a gimmick, but there's no science behind it. So maybe I'm totally disproven. I mean, there's no science behind anything that has cannabis at this point because it's federally regulated. So there's no
Sure.
actually peer-reviewed studies on it whatsoever. But you know, whatever you like, I'm still good. Whatever you like is what's going to get you through the night.
So it very
Whatever you
well could be
believe in.
placebo,
Yes.
but people are putting the creams, the cannabis creams, on all over, thinking that it's healing their arthritis or it's
Right.
making their skin look fantastic or whatever.
Sure. There could be like some temporary relief again by the act of actually just rubbing it on and making yourself feel good. I think is, it's anecdotal. Some people will say it's fantastic, and then other people say it didn't do anything, right? Again, it's the time that you're giving yourself. It's the placebo effect is super strong with a lot of people.
What's the difference between a normal zit and a boil? Like those boils you get, and those blind zits you get on your nose,
Yes.
or even worse, the ones you get on your ass.
Yeah, that's what I was
where you want
gonna
to
say.
stand up and drive a car. You know what I mean? Because you can't even sit down. You know what I mean? What the hell is that? Because those, no matter how much you squeeze them, and which you're not supposed to do,
Yes.
nothing comes out.
So is it a boil and an ingrown hair? Are they all three different things?
Well,
Yes,
ingrown
totally.
hair would definitely be.
Yeah.
But
No, I know, but
So, I mean,
the same.
there's a lot of different things, but the most common thing you're going to see out there, like if you're talking about like Dr. Pimple Popper shit, that is called an inclusion cyst, and that is actually there's a tiny little, through your pore, there's like a sac has formed underneath where the skin is kind of getting stuck in there, so you get this gross, parts of skin that gets all oxidized and gross is sitting in there. So it's not an infection, but holy shit, if you squeeze it and you smell that shit, it's disgusting. It's the most rancid
nasty.
smell you'll ever smell.
Oh,
but it's the most satisfying thing of my job is to expel those things. I love that.
So you like popping zits?
I love it.
Is that a girl thing? Because
I hate
my
it.
wife loves that. She's like, oh, come here. Like my wife, she'll see something I didn't even know was there, and she'll start picking at it and popping it.
Yes.
What's the fascination with that? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It's
I
not
honestly-
satisfying for me
It
whatsoever.
hurts like hell.
Well, I don't like doing it. Like I said, I have teenagers that have zits and stuff, and I don't want. I don't want to touch my hands.
My favorite patient is like an old man who's a widow who maybe nobody has touched his back in like 10 years.
Oh,
and I'll scratch him and I'll squeeze out all his dilated pores and I'll pick out all his age spots. And then my medical
This sounds like it.
my medical assistants are horrified. The guy stands up and there's this crumb of like old dead crust on the chair.
And you like that?
I fucking love it.
How do
It's
you-
so satisfying. And they love it. I mean, I swear to God, some of them come see me. I'm like, okay, I'll see you in a year. Like, oh no, I'm gonna see you in about 3 months. It's just like a human connection. They're like,
Oh,
come
wow.
in. It's like it's good stuff.
I know a guy, and we'll be out and about.
Asking
sometimes.
for a friend.
No, this is true. I know a guy. We'll be out and about, and he's driving. I'm sitting in the passenger seat, or we're in a meeting. He's sitting next to me, and this fucker just looks at zit videos all the time. What is the fact? And like people popping out blackheads that look like snakes, and
Yes.
and boils that come out, and they squeeze them, and it hits the screen and shit.
don't
What's the
like that.
fascination with that? Because you go on YouTube, there's millions of views to this shit.
There's a
And-
show.
and like you said,
Dr.
that
Pimple
freak,
Popper.
Dr. Pimple Popper,
Exactly.
A whole
is out there
show
with
on
that
that
shit.
stuff. No, thank you.
I don't know where
What is the fascination with that?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I've only seen the show once, and just 'cause my kids YouTubed it and showed it to me. But I honestly don't know what the fascination with that is. But I just feel super grateful that I get paid to do that. So
She doesn't know, but she
You
loves
know?
it.
Do you ever get it like on you? Like,
oh, totally. Like sometimes, like
oh man, you're gonna make me throw up.
So
But really, I mean, really, the vast majority of what I do is actually skin cancer. So it's more serious. I mean, that's like a great respite of the day if I get to see an acne patient.
So you're taking a break.
Yeah, or a little inclusion cyst. It's like a little, or a little rash, or just something simple like a little toenail fungus. That's like nothing. That's like okay. That's like I'm gonna hang out for 15 minutes to relax my brain.
But we never
you know?
let her answer. Zit and boil. What are the difference?
Oh, well, yours is just very more superficial. That boil, I mean, you got a lot of different reasons you'd have a boil. But the vast majority of them are an inclusion cyst. They need to be evacuated. They need to be removed
So they're
completely.
deeper?
Super deep, yes.
Oh, okay.
The sac needs to be totally removed. It's
Can
a
you
big thing.
stick it with a needle?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do that.
No, I would
Sounds
numb the whole
painful.
thing, slice it open,
Could
take
you
the
imagine
sac
someone
out.
sticking a needle in your ass cheek just to...
I would do it.
I'd just let that
I
go.
had these fuckers that hurt so bad. Now, how I met Doc, I went and saw Doc because I thought I had Michael Jackson. Remember when I came and saw you? And I was like,
do.
Doc, I got fucking Michael Jackson. I expected the shit to show up on my face. I was waiting for it to come. Turns out, no.
Suddenly your nose is going to get real skinny. It's going to start getting high-pitched. Yeah.
I was in the shower one day, and the way my shower goes is the shower, and there's a mirror right there because, I'm vain, right? And so I'm scrubbing, and I'm looking, and I'm like, holy fuck, that soap won't come off my elbow. And I'm scrubbing, and I'm scrubbing, and I'm scrubbing, and all of a sudden, it's lighter on my elbow, and I'm like, fuck, I got Michael Jackson. And so I make an appointment with dermatologist. I meet Doc Nancy here, and I go in, and she's like, what have you had done lately, this, that, and the other? I go, well, I've been having some pain in my elbow. I had a cortisone shot. And she's like, oh, that makes sense. black people having some weird reaction with cortisone. Isn't that something you told me?
Well, just
Interesting.
No,
just
listen.
the cortisone in general can lighten your skin. It can thin your skin. There's a lot of
Well, it's not going to whiten wood skin.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
else it'd be clear.
He's like
on his
almost
fucking
translucent if you haven't seen this guy.
It'd be like a piece of glass
Yes.
right there.
Yeah, you could see my blood flowing right
Totally.
now. I
So-
step out in the sunlight, forget about it.
So if they've injected cortisone into your joint over there and they've taken out the needle, even if just a couple of drops on the outside got through, that could affect your skin. It could just lighten it a little bit, and it's temporary.
Oh yeah, it was.
Okay.
But
totally
that was a long month and a half.
He was panicked. He really was.
Last thing I wanted to do at this stage in my life is turn white with this attitude. You know what I mean?
It's not easy.
Let's talk about that. That vitiligo is
Yes,
what you said it was
yes.
called. Is that obviously you're born with it? Does that kick in right as soon as you're born, or does that take time to show up?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't actually. I'm gonna feign dumb on this one. I don't see kids under 10, so I'm not exactly sure what happens when you're born. But vitiligo is not what you had. You had just hypopigmentation is what you had, which is steroid induced. So vitiligo is actually autoimmune disease. You've seen that beautiful model. I can't remember her name, but
She's hot.
yeah, she's totally gorgeous. That's an autoimmune disease, so that will attack the melanocytes of your skin. So being an African American guy, this would be like patches of hypopigmentation.
Right.
So the pigment is lost. The melanocytes are destroyed. Your body destroys melanocytes for no particular reason, and there's no cure for it at all.
First time I saw it, did you have oil trucks in Framingham? Remember the oil man come and fill you up for heat?
Yes.
Okay, so our oil man, when we lived in Mattapan,
Yes.
he had vitiligo. And I remember one time I was coming outside to play with my friends. And I'm like
You're
8
like,
years
what the
old.
fuck
And I
happened to
saw
that
him and I
kid?
was like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? I remember just running back in the house. But I didn't understand what it was, man.
Yes.
And does it affect white people? Do white people have it?
Yes, white people have it as
Yeah.
well. Yes,
Right, but,
absolutely.
But it blends in a little bit better because, again, wood, right? The
Yeah.
whole
Absolutely,
thing.
yes.
You can't tell that I have it, yeah.
He
Right.
just has it all over. Your friend over here has it. Wood has it here head to toe.
I had a friend.
The worst case you've ever seen, right here.
Yes, absolutely.
I had a friend. It's called albino, but whatever. So I had a friend as a kid. We were teenagers, and he developed a white circle on his cheek.
Different problem. This is called pityriasis alba.
Okay.
I told you that.
Yeah, that you said, but I wouldn't believe you.
It's actually a really common problem. It's just like a little disruption. You're like overly dry, so the natural flora and fauna that's on, living, we're as human beings, we got a million microorganisms hanging around on our skin. They keep this happy balance. Some are in the yeast family, some in the bacteria family, just living this happy harmony. And during the summer months, especially, it's really noticeable because
Yeah, that's what it was. Right.
Exactly. When you're tan, you can see that white spot, and that's just a little bit of the yeast is kind of winning out. So it's not necessarily a yeast infection. It's just you're so dry. For some reason, the other guys that are keeping this guy in check or this guy's winning, right? So all you got to do is moisturize. Aquaphor.
Yeah, use that Aquaphor. Drown yourself.
Yes.
Is a ringworm really a worm?
No. What a great question.
When I was a kid, and you know where I'm
I
going
thought it
with this.
was too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So just now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, you had the ringworm, and supposedly you got like a hot needle and stuck it in your arm and then grabbed the tweezers and pulled the worm out.
Yeah.
And
I heard that
remember
same thing.
Yeah, that's
Unless
not
you
true.
lived in like a tropical country, yes, that would have been true if you lived in like Panama. But from Mattapan,
No.
that is not an affliction in Mattapan or Jamaica Plain. Okay. Neither.
So what is it? What is a ringworm?
That's just a fungal. It's just a little fungal infection. It's no big deal. Just a little ketoconazole cream. You'll be fine in like 2 weeks.
All
No
right.
big thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
And once people find out you're a dermatologist, they start showing you shit all the time.
Oh,
huh?
all the time. Yes.
Yeah. Do you get tired of that shit?
No, you know what? I love it. I love being needed, so it's never a problem for me. Unless
that's
it's
so sweet.
Yeah,
So you go to
I
dinner
know.
parties and they're announcing, oh, this person's this, and they get to you, dermatologist, and all of a sudden it's like, so I got this thing,
On my foot.
or wherever. Can you look at it? Do you get that a lot?
Super great because it makes me like I'm like I get to be a novelty for like 20 minutes until
Huh.
somebody gets bored.
Badass.
Yeah.
Or they find out they have cancer, and they're
Right.
like, shit, Dr. Doom can sit in a corner.
Totally.
We're going to come over here and enjoy our drinks.
Totally.
What the fuck is a skin tag?
Oh,
That
a
is
skin tag. and
I
hydrocodone.
have those.
Oh,
You have-
Just recently, as of like the last maybe year. I think I got one right
Right.
here on my neck.
so this is where
It's
I
just
get
this
to.
tiny, teeny little thing. I thought, full disclosure, I thought this was only when you were obese. Because
Yeah.
you see obese people with them around their necks,
Yeah.
under their arms, kind of right here.
Yes.
And I thought,
Look like
'cause
a bunch of micro dicks.
I got one right here. And
They
then,
do. They look like little dicks, girl.
Yeah, they do. And I
Little
have
flaccid dicks.
I had one on my arm, and before I went and saw Shay, I took nail clippers and I clipped that bitch off.
Damn.
And
That's
it
fine.
hurt like a son of a bitch.
hurt.
Yes.
E-
It
Every
bled
part of
probably
me.
10
Oh
minutes.
my hell! But then now it's covered with tattoos. It doesn't matter. But I always thought they were for fat people. Now I'm getting them, and I'm like,
For fat people.
sorry,
Right.
it's
Like,
not
okay.
No,
that
no. You said it like it's a rack at fucking Nordstrom's for fat people.
It is. It's in the
You know?
big and tall.
This is where I feel a little guilty to, I feel like most things are, other than skin cancer, everything else is just a problem of getting old, and nobody
damn
wants
it.
to hear that. I know.
No.
I'm looking at you. I'm guessing you've hit 40, maybe.
Damn.
40,
She punched you in the
39,
eye.
40. I don't
Yes,
know.
it is.
She punched you right in the
She
eye.
didn't even
Nice.
care.
All right, thank
Nice.
you. But most of these things that are benign and annoying, they're a problem of just getting older. And yes, I hate to say it, but a little bit of obesity, a little bit of you're not obese. I'm not telling you you're fat. You're not fat.
Well, I did tear my Achilles getting
Okay.
into a car, so
But just
I am old and maybe I am
And he does
obese.
bake.
But
so
even
I'm
just
sure
like,
he's been eating cookies.
taking on another like 10, 20 pounds, whatever, when your blood sugar is high, your insulin is trying to combat that. So it's like always trying to work on it to bring it down, to bring your blood sugar down. So if you're like, as we age, we don't need as much calories, don't need as much sugar. And so all that, or your insulin's like pumping out, right? And so the insulin's actually a growth hormone, and your body doesn't know what to do with this extra growth hormone. So it decides to just make annoying little tags and weird things. So
Interesting.
I know you're totally fine. I'm not calling you fat,
So-
but
so
probably
since-
if you lost 10
So since
pounds.
diabetes runs in my family, I'm going to go with that. It's my family's fault.
Don't you wish
Totally.
you could tell your body where to direct the growth to?
Yeah,
man?
I do. Yeah.
Point here.
Yeah. I've
Right
had
on.
enough people lie to me in my life. I
Are
don't
you-
need any more.
And then blackheads.
Oh
What the? Ooh, is that bad?
no!
Because you can put one of those strips on your nose and tear off about 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Do you need to do that, or is that?
No, in fact, that's actually not advised. Just like squeezing and picking, it's your pore, right? So if you mess with your pore is elastic, right? So if you squeeze it, you pick it, you mess with it, it's not going to lose its elasticity. So you kind of want it to stay nice and small. So the more you pick it, and the more you bug with it, it's going to basically scar open, and you're just going to have this perpetual blackhead, right?
Right.
So rather, if you just use a retinol, which is available over the counter, you can buy a Dappling 0.1%, which is called different gel, or you can buy fancy versions of it. We sell all sorts of fancy concoctions of this. It'll keep your pores nice and tight. It'll turn over your skin. You'll be totally fine. And a good facial every now and again isn't the worst thing in the world. It's worth
Stop it,
$100
Keith,
bucks.
right now. Stop.
Thank you.
Stop.
All right, you
Yeah.
you got me.
I caught him. I sensed it.
You saw my tongue just
Yeah.
like swell up. Okay. So should you, I gotta get it out. So do you have to? Is it better to wash your face in cold water?
No, warm water will nicely clean out and expel just that dirt. It will just warm it up. It'll expel a little bit better. Nice gentle cleanser. So here's your recipe. Are you ready?
Yes.
The gold
Yeah,
standard.
yeah.
All right. Perk up your ears. Get ready. Drum roll. You, you want a nice gentle cleanser. So wash your face. How about that? Right.
With what?
Oh, anything. Doesn't matter. Just a nice gentle cleanser. Cetaphil, CeraVe, whatever you like.
Irish Spring?
Okay, that's for your butt and
I
your
know.
feet.
But so you should use a different soap on your face.
Yes.
Okay. What soap? What soap?
And
Dove.
anything that says dermatology recommended. So CeraVe, Cetaphil. You can do a salicylic wash
Nutri-
like Neutrogena.
All right.
Totally. Right
Dove
on.
exfoliating.
Yes. Dove, totally fine.
Okay.
But even your Noxzema from 1984 is fine. Okay.
That girl, I mean, she used to wash her face.
If you need that smell, to make you feel better, totally fine. But anyway, you want to wash. You want to use a vitamin C serum, and you want to use a retinol at night. There's your recipe for beautiful, healthy skin.
What's a vitamin C serum?
Serum. Ooh, well, this is like the new hot thing, right? But there's actual science behind it. You put the serum on. Morning's a good time. It'll just, I don't know if I can actually do it justice to explain it very well, but it's an antioxidant, so it's going to help protect your skin against further sun damage and clean up what's already gone wrong. But it's just a nice basic recipe. So it's vitamin C serum in the morning, retinol at night. gentle skin cleanser whenever you want to do it, once a day.
These oatmeal soaps are bullshit then, because you haven't said oatmeal one time, and that you read shit and they're like
Right.
oatmeal soap,
everything,
oatmeal
yeah.
wash, and all
Bathe
this
in
shit.
oatmeal.
Do a mask.
The
in
only time
oatmeal.
I think you bathed in oatmeal when you had chickenpox. Was it chickenpox? Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Were you, Keith?
Yeah.
You and I are old enough to have actually had chicken.
Yeah,
pox.
I still
Oh, I
got
had
a
chicken
I
pox.
had
I
it
got-
twice.
I
Totally.
got a
How'd you get
scar.
it twice?
I don't know. Extra special.
I thought the second time was shingles.
No, I was a kid. I had it when I was a
Oh.
little baby, and then I had it again when I was like 5.
Interesting.
Yes.
I had it when I was about 8.
Did you? Do you
Yeah.
remember? I don't remember.
Me too. That's about when
I
I
have
had. But-
one scar on my
but
arm
when you
from
had
it.
we
yeah.
talked about this last week. When you had it, what happened? All your cousins came over and everybody came over.
Party time, yeah.
Touch
Yeah.
them, touch
Do
them, Nancy.
not do that with this coronavirus.
No.
Oh.
Please do not do that.
Yeah, we've been
That's not
educated
good.
over the
Okay.
last 3 weeks on this. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And for the record, Nancy is 6 feet away.
Yeah,
Me and
it's
Wood
just-
are sitting on each other's
Yes.
laps, but
We are
we've already got cooties.
I do
Yeah.
spit quite a bit when I talk about it. I'm like out of spitting range with you guys. All right.
Keith and I were. There's no hope for us at this point anyway.
know.
It doesn't matter.
So the oatmeal's bullshit.
No, it's totally. I mean, again, totally. Whatever gets you through the night. There's not one thing that's like the most wonderful thing on earth. It's really, truly what you like, what you're comfortable with. Like I said, even Vaseline Aquaphor is great. Whatever you feel like it gets you through the night. Whatever your comfort level is with price, and we can sell you something for $100 a month. You know, a nice, beautiful lotion. It's not like it's any greater than anything else. This is whatever works for you.
My kids buy a lot of charcoal wipes. Have you heard about those?
There is
What's your
no science. This is like the fad of the day.
It
you know what I'm
is,
saying?
yeah. I know it is,
Yes.
and I'm like, okay, whatever. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel like they're
Yes.
clean at night. So
Yeah.
fine. But what's the idea behind this?
The charcoal, I honestly have absolutely no idea whatsoever. There's
All
like,
I see is that instead of it being like a regular, like a baby wipe, it's black and they wipe their face the same. I think that's all it is.
I have whoever's behind
Oh,
their
good.
marketing, they're marketing the next and best thing.
They're kicking
Every
ass.
2 years they gotta come out with something fun
Yeah,
for you.
it'll be different.
Yeah.
Need to get on the curve with that.
Yeah.
What is the best moisturizer for your skin, though? Talking about lotion, without you endorsing,
Yeah.
is Eucerin just as good as Nivea? Is just as good as
Totally.
Lubriderm?
Yes.
It doesn't matter. It's your
Yes.
preference
Totally.
for what you like.
Yes, right on.
Because Chris Rock says the best moisturizer is money. Because you look at some of these famous fucking people. You know what I mean? This is a Chris Rock joke. He said, all right, I remember the Commodores. He goes, but don't none of them look like Lionel Richie. You know what I mean? And if you look at the Jacksons, none of them look like Michael.
No.
Money is the best moisturizer out there. You remember Prince right before he did? Prince looked like he was
Lionel looks
17.
He was
Lionel looks
glistening. He was absolutely beautiful.
Lionel looks great from the chin up.
Yeah.
You look at his neck and it looks.
It's always the neck.
You know, Keith, you were my only African American patient.
Uh-uh. Serious?
Yes.
No
How
shit.
you like that?
I
Yes.
love that.
I know.
You know what you're doing? Please tell me you do.
Mostly. I cured your elbow, did I not?
Yeah, you did. You
Okay.
said,
Actually, got no idea what I'm
let
doing.
time run
Love
its
and
course.
time, yes.
So what is the difference in terms of skin? Obviously the melanin, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it 3 syllables like that? Or is it melon? How many syllables?
Melanocytes are what make the brown,
All right,
right?
So, all right. And so the amount you have dictates how dark you're going to be. Obviously
Yes.
genetics, right?
Yeah.
And then white people don't have it. So like elasticity and there's different. All right. If we're just being real, there's different things. Like if you see a real dark, you grew up in and around Boston,
Yeah.
right? So real dark people generally have beautiful skin. They don't get a lot of
Yeah, they
this.
do.
Why is that?
You know, I have absolutely no idea, Keith. How dare you ask me a question I can't answer?
You know what I mean? And then you got like real white people. They're always like flush. Like if you dated like say your girl was real light, like as light as you. You just grab her, just normal affection. It looked like you beat her ass. You know what I mean?
true. Bruises show
Delicate
up.
flowers, I
Bruises
know.
show up. That's not a joke.
That's a
bruises show up.
setup, man.
It
You know what I
is.
mean? So
It is.
You know the difference in changes there in terms of just skin, right? And thinking like that, I remember thinking, black people didn't get sunburn. All right, which is a fallacy, and I'll tell you how I found the fuck out. I played in a basketball tournament all day. We lost the first game. We had to play like 16 hours in the fucking sun in July.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was probably on a Friday,
Hoop
Saturday.
it up or round ball ruckus.
I think it was hoop it up.
Yeah.
Then on that Monday, all of a sudden, like skin started like I had potato chips on my fucking head, right? And I'm at my little bullshit job one day, and I grabbed one of those edges of potato chip, and I took a whole sheet of paper off my fucking head, and I was like, "Holy shit, I had sunburn, man."
Yeah, that's what it was.
So it takes longer for somebody darker to get sunburn. Am I right?
I don't know about necessarily Sure, because there's a protective value to the color of your skin. However, again, you're asking me things I don't know the deep explanation of. Remember, nurse practitioner, not doctor. However,
you said you do a lot of cancer,
right?
And so there was one day Keith and I were outside, and it's midsummer. It's 101 outside, and Keith's out there. Oh, I love this, and he's soaking it up. I'm dying. I couldn't get out of the sun quick enough.
Right.
So there's obviously
he was like the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting.
I couldn't stop. I'm sweating. I'm dripping. I'm burning. And even though I had a hat on and my face was shaded, I'm still getting a sunburn through the shade because that's how pasty I am. And he's soaking it all up.
Totally.
So in my opinion, it's got to take longer to sunburn.
Right. So different types of cancers, right? So the most common cancer, especially in light-skinned white people, which is there's no no endless amount of people here in Utah. There's all light skinned, blue eyed. They're going to have basal cell and squamous cell carcinoma. These are carcinomas, different than melanoma. So it'd be pretty rare for a dark skinned person to have a carcinoma. However, a melanoma can happen to anyone. Equal opportunity employer here. So a melanoma is more deadly, right?
Okay.
So this is what Bob Marley died of. Right?
And his toe, huh?
His toe.
How did he get that in his toe?
I have no idea. So
Jamaicans don't wear shoes.
No, they're walking around without shoes on all day.
It could have been that. It could have been genetics. We don't know, right? So.
Well, he was half white, which I didn't learn until a couple of years ago.
I did not know that.
His father was straight up white.
Okay.
Not white, just like normal white.
So carcinomas, like when you say that, I think of like carcinogens, like cigarettes, things like that.
No, these are the normal layers of your skin. So you have your squamous layer and your basal layer. These are what make your actual skin happen. This is where your skin cells grow from. Your skin turns over every 30 days, right? So they're growing all day long. They're doing their little thing. And if you get tons of sun exposure, tons of UV light, it's damaging the DNA. So as these skin cells over time, they're getting damaged and they're growing wrong, just slightly, but after 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of growing wrong, you're going to get a carcinoma. That's the same in any part of your body, your kidneys, your liver, anywhere. You can get a carcinoma anywhere. Just the cells started growing wrong.
Is your mattress full of dead skin cells, like they say?
Totally.
That's true?
Yes.
How often should you change your mattress?
I think you're supposed to throw it out every 10 years. I don't know about that.
What about your towel? That you
towel?
bathe
Oof.
and then use your towel. Like, because in my opinion, my body's clean.
Sure.
Like that's the first time I go to the bathroom after I've showered, I don't need to wash because I'm clean. Everything's clean, head to toe. I don't touch the stream, so it's clean. So I get out of the shower and I wipe off with a towel. The towel's clean because it's just wiping off clean water, right?
It's all your dead cells hanging out there and living on your towel. I would still wash your towel every week at least.
So a loofah is good.
Don't go crazy. I mean, don't scrape off your skin. If you look under a microscope, if you're loofahing or doing the apricot scrub, that's literally like gravel. Tearing your skin off. Be gentle to yourself.
So what about like I use a bar of soap that has the exfoliating things in it? Mm-hmm. Is that
sure.
How's that compared to the loofah?
I would do the gentle exfoliation versus a loofah. Loofah is like gravel.
Do you use a washcloth?
No, I don't. I just use the bar of soap with
Dave
the
Chappelle was right. Dave Chappelle was right, man.
Chappelle is always right.
Why would I use a wash? I don't have shampoo. I'm the easiest buy in the world. I just have a bar of soap that has the little exfoliating green things in it. I'm good to go.
See, I use a washcloth. It just makes sense to me.
I feel like it's so like it's almost like what your parents did. That's what you're gonna do.
Oh, absolutely. That's how you wash your ass with a washcloth.
I still feel like I adopted that on my boy.
And everybody had their own. What about the fish that eat the dead cells off your feet? Is that real shit? I've never done that because that's just freaky.
I've never done that. I want to because the bottom of my feet are the most horrifying thing you'll ever see in your entire life.
Why is that?
Because as you age, you're gonna
heavy grit sandpaper.
Yes, literally. Come look at this. This is like the most disgusting thing on earth. It's a product of age, and if you don't pay for,
but you're a runner too.
True that.
All right.
So if you don't pay to have somebody exfoliate it for you, you don't take the time to do it. This is just a natural part of aging. Your keratin just is overabundant, and it's just at some point we were all walking around without shoes, right? So this must have been a natural, part of being a human being without shoes, and we haven't genetically accommodated for that. So
I love it because I can go run, and it's like I have a dog. The pads of dogs for my feet. Now.
I could walk through. I could walk on coals and be fine. Totally.
Just go, and nothing. I don't get blisters. Nothing pokes through my feet. It's great. I mean, I can't now because I'm broken.
I've walked around my own house barefoot probably 2 times in my whole life.
Oh,
All right, I have
so
socks
delicate.
or shoes. Yeah, exactly. I don't play that shit because I grew up with
love
spit, broken glass, and fucking bum piss.
Yes.
I'm not stepping in that shit.
You get yourself a bum bump.
Doc, do you know what an itch is? Is that a weird question? But
An itch?
an itch. Do we have like little bugs all over our body?
No, but it is part of. So it's like it's on the same nerve pathway as even pain can be perceived. So once you've felt an itch and you scratch it, it's like a negative feedback loop. You keep going for it. You keep going for it, so the itch becomes more intense.
It's crack.
So don't. It is crack. Don't
like
scratch
crack.
your itch.
But
Don't.
I
Find a
have-
different vice.
I have to. So
Drink heavily instead.
So-
Have some Porter's
that's
whiskey.
the best. That's the best. So before I fall asleep, right as I'm like, when you're okay, I'm gonna go here, I start to itch everywhere. It's the weirdest thing. I start itching my leg,
That's
my
just you.
neck, my
You're
hand.
you're just insane.
So what? Yeah, that's probably true. But I'm glad you brought up the itch because I always wondered, do I have shit crawling over me? I got bugs. I try and keep my house as clean and bug free as I can, but I always think that I've got bugs all in, itch and scratch, and then I'm gone. I'm supposed to sleep. It doesn't matter.
I like the original answer.
He's that
insane.
shit crazy. No, it's pretty rare. I mean, the only place that has a bug infestation is the Mission down on Wall, which I also volunteer at. But
All the bed bugs.
Yes, you do not have bed bugs. That's just like a normal part of having dry. You're probably dry, just moisturized.
Oh yeah, the wintertime kicks my ass.
Totally. I mean, remember here in Utah, you're in a high desert. It's just super dry. Your humidity is like 10%. I mean, if you're in Massachusetts, I'd have like poof, curl. He's like super moisturized. You know, we don't have that here. We are living in a desert, right?
You get home often? You get back to
Yes, I
Massachusetts?
do every year. I can't.
Every year you go
Oh,
back?
I love it. Yes.
Go to all your old spots
yes.
and everything?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah. You still got friends back there? A lot of friends?
Yes, but I had so many friends, I had to reduce it down to my 2 favorite, and one has a, one's loaded, and she has a vacation house, so she's definitely high priority.
She do it on her own or she marry well?
No, she did it on her own.
Nice.
Shit, man, she's amazing. Can I give her some props for
Let's
a minute?
talk to her.
Of
This
course.
is my best friend
Okay.
from UMass Amherst. She's my college roommate, randomly assigned our sophomore year.
Uh-huh.
She's just like this nice prissy girl from Haverhill, nice Italian-Irish mixed
Yeah.
girl. It's like
Yeah.
your classic Massachusetts girl, right? So I'm a mess. I spent the summer hitchhiking around Alaska, gutting fish. I mean, I'm like a mess, and she's all prissy and sweet, and we're like the odd couple, and we learn so much from each other. Anyway, she graduates college with a double degree in, I don't know, women's studies and English literature, some bullshit that you can basically pump gas with, So she's
Interior design,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
she's waitressing for about a year, and she just has like a, what is that show? Like a Clueless moment where her eyes widen one day, and she's like, I'm going to be an attorney. And so
Oh,
she
damn.
studies for the LSATs, takes the LSATs, flying colors, gets into UMich. Michigan, like second best law school in the country.
Michigan?
Yes.
Okay.
She is shitting bricks of gold and marries another attorney, and now they own like their own island off the
Yeah.
coast of Maine,
course.
plus their house in Winchester. I'm so fucking proud of
Is
her.
she?
I love
she,
her.
She's
She's amazing.
What kind of an attorney? Do you know?
She was
Is
in
she
she was in biomedical actually, and now
Oh.
she does like corporate consultation and stuff like that.
Okay, not a child family one.
No,
Damn.
no.
Corporate consultation.
Those ones we're all accustomed to, yes. Divorce and child custody, no. Those are the guys, those are like the lowest on the rung, okay?
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
Dime
everybody
a
out
dozen,
there.
right?
somebody might be looking.
Exactly. Sorry, listeners out there. Yeah.
What does this they talk about, since we're talking about skin, pregnant
Mm-hmm.
women in a glow? What's this fucking glow they supposedly have? Does something happen with their
Keith,
skin,
why-
literally?
Why do you keep challenging me, man? I think it's
and
I think it's their
it's-
happiness.
I-
Honestly, think
Not
it's
all
their
pregnant women are
happiness.
happy. Let's start there.
True, but true that they are not. But also there is a glow, but I don't think it's like a physical glow. I think it's an aura, in my opinion.
I think it's an
That's what I
emotional.
Woods
Yeah.
impregnated enough women. He should know. So I probably should have asked him that
No.
fucking question.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
bad.
good.
I'm like I haven't hit my like Utah. I'm not in the national average here the state average. I only
That's
have-
right. That's right.
Only have 3 children.
Woods
You're
taking
up to,
care
like,
of
what,
it for
7?
both. Shit. That's one court day.
I know.
I've been to many states this last year for things, but
What dictates a beauty mark? Because first of all, what the fuck's a mole? Because you're not born with moles. I've never seen
No.
a baby with a fucking mole, and all of a sudden they just show up. So how's that happen?
It's just like a random occurrence.
Cindy Crawford. It wasn't a beauty mark or a beauty mark. I don't like it.
I
Get
love.
it off your face.
No, shush. It's beautiful. Let Cindy Crawford be. She looks beautiful.
You like
back
it?
in my day, she was. Yeah. Okay.
She's hot. She's hot stuff. It's just a collection of melanocytes. They just all grown in a clump. They're doing their own thing, but the vast majority of them are totally normal, right?
Right.
But, like,
what about the red ones?
oh, those are totally different. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Leave your moles alone. But if your
leave
mole
them
gets out of
alone.
control, your beauty mark quote mole, your quote beauty mark, sorry, mole, that has a potential. Again, back to Bob Marley. If it's looking weird, it's the shape, the color, the symmetry of it is looking strange. You're going to be worried about melanoma, right? So melanoma, totally deadly. Back to carcinoma. Carcinoma, totally not deadly. Give it a couple decades. Yeah, it'll grow, metastasize, and kill you. But melanoma could potentially kill you within a couple of months. Now, deep breath, your red dots that you have as a 40-year-old man all over you, those little guys are called cherry angiomas. They have nothing to do with moles, nothing to do with cancers. They're just a little vascular anomaly. Your little blood cells were trying to make connections underneath the surface. And they didn't hear the Barry White song. They didn't connect.
Interesting.
Right?
I've had those since I was.
And when it went up to the surface, you got lost.
So I have some. I'm not going to take my shirt off for anybody. Sorry, all you
Thank
ladies
you.
out there.
I know you have them, though. Everyone has them.
Since I was probably in my early 20s, I started getting them on my chest.
Yes.
All the little red, and I thought, oh, this is weird. But then naturally, like you do, you don't go see anybody because who cares, right?
Right.
I'm 20,
Because you're 20. Yeah.
and I'm invincible. So
Right, totally fine. No, those
So
are
they're
those
still
are,
okay.
Yes, those are your little cherry
good.
angiomas. They're not going to kill you. They're totally fine. 100% of people have one.
What
And
about
some people have
that?
hundreds.
What about that shit Enrique Iglesias had on his face, and how the hell did they get that off?
I love
Wait, what
Enrique
did he have?
Iglesias.
I'm not like a huge fan, but yeah, like a
Oh, I'm a
big
huge fan.
mole.
He had a giant
Yeah.
fucking orange on the side of his face, man.
They took it. Remember,
remember
what'd
that?
you say?
No.
Money, and you have.
Money's the best lotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Chris Rock.
Enrique Iglesias, man, I love Enrique Iglesias. man.
I'm lost, guys.
You don't know? You know who
no.
Julio Iglesias is, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
He had a hot son. You missed all that.
Yeah, he's married to like a really
we
hot
could
like
sit
Russian
here for the
tennis
next
player.
3 hours and go Enrique
about all I
Iglesias
know.
if
Yeah.
you want.
I think he has a mole in his face. That's about all I know about
Well,
him.
he got it dug out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when do you need to worry about
got
the
it.
moles? The ones that come out?
No, you're pointing to your armpit. Those are probably skin tags.
I don't know. I don't have one. My auntie had one
Let's
under her
every
arm.
time.
affirm that Keith is perfectly normal.
Every time he says any kind of issue, it's his armpit.
Nancy, let me tell you something. No, my auntie had one. My auntie had one under her arm, and we used to play with it. And one day it fell off.
Aw,
Ugh.
that was a skin tag. Let's just stop for a second and notice
why
that you
do
said
you
auntie. I love that. So
That's home,
my
right?
aunts are auntie, yes.
That's home.
Because here they're
And why
like
are
my
you-
aunt. My
No,
aunt.
Which makes
Yeah.
no sense.
No, my
It's not
auntie.
Even, it's not even spelt like
It's
aunt.
not
It's aunt.
A-N-T. It's
It's
aunt.
aunt.
It's
Yeah.
aunt.
I know. You guys lost the King's English
There's
somewhere along the way.
so there in here in Utah, you can't say aunt because it's aunt,
Yes.
and you can't say anything like President Clinton with a T. It has to be President Clinton. It drives me nuts. Utah lingo drives me insane.
Eczema. In my field, it's eczema. Is
Eczema.
what I say, and
Uh-huh.
everyone here says eczema.
Eczema. Yeah.
Potato,
Welcome.
potato,
Welcome.
tomato, tomato.
Can you use duct tape to remove a skin tag in a mole?
Oof, you can never remove a mole unless you actually excise
A
it
mole?
out. Yes.
I heard
With
a mo- I heard
duct
a
tape?
mole.
No
you could
way. in
possibly,
hell.
only thing you could possibly remove with duct
Blackheads.
tape. No.
With duct tape.
Possibly a wart is the only thing you could possibly remove with duct tape. That's
I
a virus.
use those for warts. I use those needle nose pliers. They have that sharp.
Oh,
point.
man.
Cut
Dig
that
out
right
your
off.
wart. You do whatever the fuck you want to with your wart.
That works every time. It
You can
hurts
come
like hell.
see me and pay me a copay every 30 days. That'll be great. But honestly, there's plenty of over-the-counter remedies.
But
a
isn't a wart part of the herpes virus?
No, it's actually part of
shit.
it's part of the HPV virus. So there's like a
Wait a minute.
yes. Think for a second. Vaccines, HPV. So the common wart is not part of that vaccine series that your kids
Okay.
are supposed to get in junior high.
Okay.
All you anti-vaxxers out there, give them the
Idiots.
fucking vaccine. Idiots.
Do you have this one? Do you have the one on your shoulder?
That's the small.
No,
pox?
that's a smallpox. No, I
Okay,
don't have
alright.
that.
You have it?
I'm just too young. 1974. I don't have
You just
that.
missed it? Okay.
Yeah, you might have it.
I definitely have it.
Okay, but your common wart is part of the HPV. It's a yes. So you just need to. You can actually just buy Mediplast over the counter. You cut it out the size of the wart, put it on there for about 12 weeks. It'll eventually fall off.
Holy shit.
But it's a big pain in
That's
the
a long
ass.
time. We need
Yeah.
instant
I
shit.
know.
I get them all the time.
I needed the
And
length
usually,
of this podcast.
I cut them off or I rip them out. And
If you can cut it off
go.
or rip out, great. I mean, as long as either you can manually get rid of it or you can invoke your T cells to get rid of it for you.
Because I start plucking out those. So once I cut the top off, then I start plucking those roots out or whatever the hell they are. Hurts like hell. It hurts like hell. I'm not gonna lie, but it seems to get rid of them in that spot. And I always thought it was part of the herpes virus, like
No.
cold sores and
That's
stuff
a
like
different. That's a so you're totally different viruses. But your
Okay.
herpes simplex 1 that will affect your mouth, and herpes simplex 2 those will affect your genitals.
that. Okay, so they're different.
Yes.
Can you get herpes? Can you take? I got herpes 1 on my mouth.
Can you get
Can
on
I
your
put
genitals?
a herpes 2
Depends
on
on
the
what you
genitals?
did last Saturday.
You absolutely can.
Okay,
However,
good. Woohoo! Dodged the
However,
bullet.
not totally common, but yes.
Okay.
But like
So
you
it
know,
can morph to herpes 2 in
Yes.
that. Oh wow.
if you have genital herpes, go see a provider and get yourself some Valtrex. Take a small dose every day of your life.
I
and
haven't
you'll-
had an outbreak in.
Have you had people come in saying I got a rash in my thigh and it's herpes?
Oh, not so much herpes. A really common thing is molluscum. Have you heard of molluscum?
No,
I've heard of it, but I have no idea
never
what
heard
it is.
of it.
It's also a virus. It's actually a type of pox virus that's on your skin. It's very, very common. And you'll see it with like little kids who play like gymnasts and karate kids who.
Oh, on that mat.
Yes, it
Yeah.
lives on the mat for a while, so it just looks like
Oh,
little
okay.
bumps. It's totally harmless. It's not going to kill you. You can have it forever, but you see it between people's thighs, and they'll be like, you have to actually counsel people. This is sexually transmitted, although it doesn't have to be, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a volleyball between your legs, you can get it too, right? Whatever it is that is your contagion.
Not what I've ever heard of referenced.
But have you ever had somebody come in with maybe a sexually transmitted disease on their mouth from whatever they did?
No.
And they're like, I got a cold sore right here. And you're like, yeah, actually, you don't. Go to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, no.
You don't get
Luckily,
that?
those guys are mostly weeded out with their family practice or their
Okay.
or their urgent care providers. But certainly, like we definitely get people on like Valtrex, nonstop. For people who have had, recurrent herpes and you want to just like calm it down, get it to where it's not outbreaking all the time. But I definitely have seen tons of genital warts. You want to hear my best genital wart
I
story?
would
Yes.
love to hear your best genital wart story.
I love this one. This is like probably the most fun story I have. 'Cause I'm pretty boring in general. And the vast majority of people I have actually just have skin cancer, which is pretty run of the mill. But my favorite,
Pretty run of the mill. Hey, you're gonna die in 9 months, but it's run of the mill.
That's like 90% of my day. I mean, everything else you've been talking about is like barely a fraction of what I'm doing all day long. But anyway, so my favorite genital wart story is this little set. They're both in their late 70s. A sweet little like Utah couple. Never left their county except for to go to a Marriott hotel somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's the anniversary this year.
Yes, exactly. This is like anyway. So the guy, he's had a wart on his knuckle for decades, and I'm like, HPV, which is one of the strains of that is a normal wart, but after after decades, it can turn into cancer, and you can have HPV squamous cell carcinoma. So we biopsy it. Sure enough, it's HPV squamous cell, which is more rare. The vast majority are son. Anyway, this is from the HPV virus, so we have to do a surgery on his knuckle. While we're doing surgery on his knuckle, his wife kind of saunters up over to me. She's like 78. She's like, I've been having some bumps inside my privates. And I was like, well, hey, let's take a look at those bumps. So I bring her into another room after the surgery's over. I get her in a gown and I get her legs up on the, do like basically a vaginal exam, which you don't normally do in dermatology. Sure enough, she has full-on genital warts. This 78-year-old lady. I'm like, damn, good for you, sister. You're getting it on still at 78. There's hope for all of us, so
I
we
love you
treat
see
him,
the
we're
positive
fine.
in that. I
know.
love you saw the positive in that.
Totally treatable because we caught him. It was good.
Did she
Totally
shave?
fine.
Was she
No,
shaved?
no. Oh my gosh, you could not imagine the
I'm
bush.
just curious. I want to know what it is.
Can we just like pause for half
At
a
what
second?
point do
Can
you
we talk-
stop
Oh,
shaving?
hold on
I
a
wonder.
second. Can we talk about bush for a minute?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay. let's just take a break for a second. I'm born in 1974. Keith, I think you're about my age, or maybe like a year older. So, like, you know, we grew up in where like Bush was a thing in the 80s,
70s,
right?
yeah. 70s, early 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but that was like something to be proud of. You show that. I was like, wow, okay. I didn't even know you could trim down your pubes until I was like into my mid-20s, right?
Late 90s is when that started.
When did that even become a thing? So, so I was like, so funny. So, you know, again, I'm doing skin exams. My vast majority of my day is 25 patients a day. I'm really actually looking for skin cancer, not all the things we've been talking about today. I'm really doing a very thorough skin exam to make sure you don't have skin cancer where the sun don't shine. And when the sun shines. Anyway, so you cannot imagine the amount of ladies who have full bush. Like, that is still a thing. The only people who don't are like the under 35 crowd. Under 40 crowd, I'd say, actually.
Yeah, let's go 40 and younger.
40 and younger.
All right, do they edge it
Everything's
up
gone.
or is it growing up onto the belly?
No, it is like everywhere. And
It's
it is like
growing
a
halfway
fucking
down
jungle.
their leg.
Yes. It's
Damn.
it is so impressive. And like, it still exists.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the day. This is what I tell all my young people who are like, you know, right now we're closed because of the COVID virus. We have another section of our job where it's all the estheticians work and they do like laser hair removal and all this stuff and facials and all this stuff. So that's all closed. So there's a bunch of women out there who are super bummed because every 6 weeks they're coming in to have their bush laser hair removed and they're like, damn it, the forest is going to come back. I'm like, no, this is good. I swear to you, bush is going to come back. It's going to come back in a style, and you need to do a hair transplant.
It's going to come into style for about a half a minute until the next person chokes on a hair, and then that shit's gone. It's gone.
I don't know.
Okay, we're going into this whole, you know, like we said last week, the man buns are gone. They want dudes with fucking dirty nails and they can fight.
Can you hunt, trap, and fish?
Maybe the bush will come back.
It
Maybe
might.
it will come
This
back.
is my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Bush is coming back.
All
I
right.
like it. Well,
10 years from now. 10 years.
So what? To bring us to a different direction here. When I was a little kid, I had cold sores. I always had them, but I was told they were impetigo.
Totally different thing, and you pronounced it wrong.
I have no idea. This is what how I've always pronounced it, and what my doctor told me that's what it was. So what in the hell is it?
Does it come around your mouth?
It grew. I guess it grew from like the corner of my down to my chin, like the jawline.
Okay.
So that direction. So not around my lips, but like on the edge down to the like the jawline.
So impetigo is a bacterial
Impetigo.
Impetigo is a bacterial infection, very specifically it has like a honey coated crust.
Right. Yeah. And it hurt like hell, and anytime I opened my mouth, it like cracked.
Opened. Okay.
Yeah.
But being close to your mouth and being a recurrent problem, I'm going to guess it was herpes simplex virus.
Okay.
HSV1, right? So,
Okay.
you know, that's probably the more common.
Impetigo.
Impetigo. So that's a bacterial versus viral.
It's impetigo.
So totally different
What is
problems.
impetigo then?
It's a bacterial infection versus a viral infection. So
Gotcha.
totally different scenarios. So like impetigo, it's a staph infection. It can be recurrent for somebody who's colonized with staph, but
So the stuff that goes from up into my nose, stuff like that.
yes. But the
That's
thing is that
But that could also be the herpes 1.
Yes, a herpes 1 can also do it too. So it's hard to know.
Stupid skin.
I know, damn it. Nothing will kill you though. That's fine. None of that's cancer.
Do you know what a Mongolian mark is? A Mongolian
Spot?
spot.
Yeah.
All right. So when I had my kid,
Yeah.
I remember the doctor told me, my kid still in, he's like, look, when you take them, there's a thing called a Mongolian mark. It looks like child abuse on black kids and on some. You know what this is, Wood?
Yeah. I've heard of it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He had to write a note. So when we took him to other doctors, so they'd know that we weren't kicking our kids' ass.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why? What is that from? Why does that happen?
It's like a vascular hyperpigmentation. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Again, remember, I'm a nurse practitioner, not a doctor, so I don't know all the. I don't have the 12 years to back that.
Still smarter than us.
Okay, thanks.
Still make more money than us. Okay.
All right.
Consider
Thank
where
you.
you're sitting.
Fair enough. Okay, so this is like a hyperpigmentation that some children will have, and you can grow out of it, which is a great thing.
Yeah. He did grow out of it. That's
Okay.
just weird, though.
I know.
It just looks like he kicked his ass,
Aw.
and now you got to deal with the police.
I know. Those
That's how I say it all the time
Those
now, Wood.
fuckers.
I always say it like that.
I like it.
What type of birthmarks have you seen? You ever seen like a birthmark that looks like a swastika or a penis or some shit? I'm sure you get a lot of
Like
weird
Jesus.
birthmarks.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus?
Yeah.
Like
No,
Like
probably
in her drink over there. She's seen Jesus.
the best birthmark I ever saw, unfortunately, has not been that exciting. Other than like I saw a heart birthmark, and one time, I mean, a lot of people have, some like epidermal nebuses that look like tiger stripes and like little tiger marks, but nothing that exciting. I mean, I feel like the movies definitely embellish their birthmarks.
My mother has these, and she says they're birthmarks. I don't know, but they're like all the way down her calves. They cover, they're like splotchy all down her calves. And she was told by a doctor they're not birthmarks or something else, but she goes with they're birthmarks. But they're like they're darker than her normal skin. So imagine my skin, but with like brown patches down her calves.
Yeah, she probably has just like regular normal age spots. They're called seborrheic.
No. This is since I was
Since you were
a little kid. She's all and in fact, as she's gotten older, they've faded. So when she was younger, in her mid-20s, they were really, really dark, and now they've lightened. Any idea?
Epidermal nevus would be like a birthmark. That would be like again like could be an elongated birthmark.
Okay.
With little specks of speckling inside of it, but nothing malignant, nothing bad. Any mole can fade over time, lose its pigmentation over time, but as long as she's alive and well, we're good.
Yeah, she is. She's doing just fine.
Oh, good.
why they can pig? God
They
damn
can
it.
pick up. Snaggles came.
Why they compare
Hello, Snaggles. You showed up.
Pig skin to human skin?
Oh, for in surgeries.
Yeah.
The only reason we ever use pigskin is if you cannot close. So okay, let's back up for a second. When somebody's coming in for a surgery, right? We're taking out their cancer, like it's a circle. We call this a defect. So most of them are maybe like somebody comes in early, we catch it. It's maybe like the size of a penny or a dime, right? So if it's something that's huge and in a really hard place where you can't pull the skin in to cover it up, like your skull or your...
I was just going to say the top of your head.
The top of your head,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So think about like when you're trying to like take the seam, right? So this is like you got a dime-sized cancer and you're taking that seam, it's like a carpet, right? If you had a hole in your carpet, you got to take that seam really long.
So if it's a dime size, just to kind of give everyone perspective, it's a dime size, how much around that are you taking?
Depends on the surgery. So I work with a Mohs surgeon, so you're going to get all clear margins in that moment, which is great. Other people are going to just kind of guesstimate. But however, let's say best case scenario, you got all your margins clear. It's even a dime or a quarter size. Either way, that's not the end of the problem.
Right.
Now you got to close that thing up. You can't just pucker it closed. You can't just squeeze it closed. You go like you have a
That'd be the best
buckshot.
facial surgery, though. like the facelift. If I have one on the top of my head, you just pull that back, it just tightens that face up.
Exactly.
I look like I'm 20 again.
There's some benefit to having skin cancer. You're going to get like basically a free facelift out of it. But you got to take the seam out long in order to close that circle. So you got to take it long in either direction. So what we do is we make triangles on either side of the circle, and that's how you can, stretch that out, the seam out long to then be able to sew it closed. This is the fun part of my job. I love this. There's nothing more incredible than sewing somebody back together. It's the coolest thing on earth.
I could get behind that.
Yeah.
The pimple popping, not so much. The
Disgusting.
stitching back
Disgusting.
together, I think is kind of neat.
That's my
All
favorite.
right, so you're from Massachusetts. You've probably been in a fight before, all right? You've been popped. No, that's just the way we roll. You've been popped in the mouth. Mouth wounds heal really quick,
They
right?
do. You're absolutely right.
Here's a fucking dumbass question, but I want to know if you know the answer to this. If you took somebody's mouth, all right, and like say you nose fed them, the tube, the mix through their nose, so you can still eat, right? You still drink water, but you sewed their mouth shut. Over time, would their mouth grow together? I know.
Oh my God.
I just always want to
You're
know.
asking me like a hypothetical question. You need to open the skin so all the little cells can grow together.
Okay, so
right?
if I did that.
So
okay.
if you,
in theory, you totally could,
so if
right?
If you punched them in the mouth and they had a
cut both
busted
lips.
top and bottom lip, and you
Sure.
sewed it together, their mouth would grow together.
Totally, you totally could, but you'd have to cut it open to be able to sew it together, right? You have to open those skin cells so that you can epithelialize together, right? That's a really fucked up question.
I know,
man.
I know. You should see my head. My head is so fucking screwed up.
huge. Oh, yeah.
I can't help it. I really can't. So that's just something.
I just want to tell you for the record,
Okay.
I was never in a fight in elementary school.
Bullshit.
Ever. No, bullshit. No.
in elementary school.
You grew up in Mattapan. I grew up in Framingham.
Yeah, but you had Mecco.
We did have Metco kids.
You had Mecco.
But I was always a friendly girl. I was a friendly, nice girl. My friend was Shaquana Bleach.
So you never
and
got...
Shonda Sheffield. It was nice.
right.
I took a Metco bus back with them.
They were black, right? I need to quantify that because Wood has a white friend named Ebony, so I never know these fucking names.
That's true.
Could you just guess from the name?
So you've never been in a fight?
Never. I've never been hit in my life ever.
Were you 617 area code or 508?
A 508.
All right,
I know.
We should
I'm
have led with
embarrassed
that.
right
We
now.
should have led with 508. Okay.
And you called me out so hard right now. The difference of like 3 miles.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
Though? So once you got past Mattapan Square and you got into Dedham, it all changed
It's
right
all
there.
done.
Right?
It's like full on suburbs. I'm so sorry.
Burns.
Okay.
In terms of like, how many layers? There's 3 layers to the skin.
Right
There's
on,
that
yes.
epidermal,
Yep. Yeah. Well, and then
subcutaneous, and the Lechke Mohan. I mean, I'm making shit up now. What are the 3 layers of the skin?
Let's go with those.
Let's break it down to just 2 levels. But in those 2 levels, there's other levels. So you got your epidermal and your dermal layer. But in your dermal, there's many more layers. So with burns, for example, again, I'm not going to see this so much in dermatology. You're going to see that in urgent care.
You had to take the test, though. You had to take this test.
You had to pass at some point.
Right. Anyway, so when somebody gets this little burn, that's just usually your epidermal, right? So it's down to your dermis. If it's like medium thickness, you're going to recover. But it's full thickness, that's when you get somebody
So
in the
that's like
hospital.
third-degree burns.
Yes, and that's pretty horrible. My own son, God bless his soul, is dumbass. He's at his dad's. He's heating up ramen in the microwave at like 10 at night.
How old is
he? He's like 13, but he has like the dexterity of like, he's got like all thumbs, you know? And he's got his towel wrapped around him. He's naked. He's probably got some pubes he's trying to hide. And,
He's like, I just got done. I need some ramen.
I need some ramen, right? So he's eating up some ramen, and his towel's fallen. He's like one-handed and doing the ramen in the microwave. And anyway, the whole bowl of boiling water falls on his whole chest down to his pubes. Poor kid. Oh my Lord. So I get this call at like 10:30 at night. The kid's like in shock. I'm like, fuck, what do I do? So I go over there and it's like dark, and he's like literally like hypotensive. I'm like, okay, let's just get you some, I just got some sulfasalazine is a great remedy for that. So first of all, you just gotta like keep it cold. All the emergency stuff that it's basic medical stuff. Like anyone can do this. Just cold washcloths on it, and then I put some lidocaine on it just to numb it all up. And then sulfasalazine is this amazing remedy. You can get a prescription. It's great. Works for sunburn, for your light little cooking burns, anything like that. So next time you see your doctor, anyone can prescribe that to you. It's called sulfasalazine.
So what you just told me is don't bug you for it. Go to my normal doctor.
Yeah. Call Dr. Ryan.
You can call me and I'll help you out.
Quit being a pain in my ass, Keith.
But that poor kid, my Lord.
Did he scar?
He has a little scar, but he didn't I haven't looked at his chest recently, but he had a little like water burn. Looks like a water trickled down his chest. Poor kiddo.
So tattoos are below the first layer into the second layer.
Yeah.
And I heard that tattoos are, so your body's always breaking your tattoo down. So that's why they kind of fade. Is that accurate? Like your body, because it's a foreign object in your skin, it's always breaking it down. It's always taking it away.
It's trying to, absolutely. I don't exactly completely understand, but what's fucked up right now is a lot of people have allergy to the dye in your tattoo.
Yeah, I've seen people with that.
Totally fucked up because you can't remove that, you
Right.
know? And you have this like lifelong horrible allergic contact dermatitis. So
I started with a small tattoo.
Yeah.
I was okay, and then I went to
there
large
you go.
ones.
Yes. So you should always just really test it out first. And if you have some fucked up looking mole, don't tattoo over it because we can't see it very well, right?
I didn't even think about
if you have
that.
a family history of melanoma,
Yeah.
Tattoo around it if you can so that we can keep a good eye on it because it's really, really sad. I've had to go into people's tattoos and really mess it up and do a little ellipse in it and
Like
whatnot.
cut it open and cut it off, and so you could see.
Yes.
Does the tattoo go all the way down through all the layers of skin?
Absolutely, yes. It goes. I think they're down all the way through way down, definitely through the epidermis, or definitely in the dermal layer.
I thought they were just into the dermal layer,
Yes.
and that's where they hung out because
But that's the low one.
But it's a low one. But you're depositing a foreign body there.
in there. Yeah, so that's why I understood that your body it's foreign. So your body's constantly trying to chip away at that. So that's why, you get that tattoo that looks sharp, crisp at 20.
Right.
Then by the time you're 40, 50, 60 years old, it looks faded and terrible because your body's slowly breaking it down.
Yes.
It's slowly trying to take it out.
Totally.
Plus,
Trying to take it out. Trying to take it out of your skin. Yeah.
And just sloughing it off, totally. But keep your cool old man, old tattoos. I have a bunch of, most of my patients are all old dudes. I love them. And they have like the coolest tattoos, like fucking anchors with I love mom. I love those
are the best.
guys.
Aren't the I love mom shit
Those
with
are World War II veterans.
Yeah.
I know, like don't tattoo over that shit. It is so classic. I absolutely love it.
Got some barbed wire
yeah.
going on. Yeah, those are the good ones.
Leave those alone, Don't try tattoo over them.
And with tattoos and all that, and we didn't bring it up earlier, and we know why.
Yeah.
Tiger Claw Tattoo. This is our dude. He's our resident tattoo cat.
Yeah, he is.
He comes in from neck down, sleeved up. So whatever poison you're talking about, the body trying to break down,
right?
His has got to work overtime for that shit, okay? And he's the one that sponsors our snaggles. All right, so the drink you read, the drink you're enjoying over there.
Thank you.
This is by Tiger Claw Tattoo.
It is, guys. And unfortunately, in the times that we find ourselves, Tiger Claw is shut down. They just shut them down. They can't do anything. So for people out there, if you understand how a business like this works, you shut down a tattoo business, you shut down, I'm assuming like a piercing business, somewhere where they have to touch your body to put the product on. You shut it down. You get a brothel.
Okay.
They get, like Las Vegas, for hell's sakes, is shut down. Okay? So they're not bringing in much. So they're not, I talked to them, they're not really doing gift cards or anything like that. So when you can, when this phase passes, go in and see those guys. Go get yourself a full back piece. I don't give a shit. Go get your whole leg done. Get a bodysuit.
Don't get it done over your moles, though, right?
No.
Right, Doc?
Thank you.
Don't get it done
leave
over
all
your
those
moles.
spots. Leave all those spots. But go see Tiger Claw Tattoo, guys. They're shut down, but they're not gone away.
Maybe avoid the face tattoo if you can, just for for the future.
I think
of your life.
I think they would recommend that as well. Now, if somebody's adamant, they'd probably say, fine, whatever. But I think Tiger Claw, I think they shy away from that.
Okay.
This is the
Just
place.
in case.
So you had boyfriends back in the day growing up in
Yes.
Framingham because you used to take the bus out to Boston.
Right
so
on.
Who knows what the fuck you were doing down in the combat zone, right?
Leave me off of the corner of Madison. Yes.
Well, you meet that boyfriend and he wants to take you in and get Pookie tattooed across your chest.
Yeah.
Shay and them won't do that.
No,
they'll
they
look at
won't.
you
Okay.
and they'll see you all terrified and shit. And they'll
Yeah.
be like, I'm not putting Pookie on their chest. All right.
Yep.
Super responsible. I love
Super
it.
responsible.
Nice.
Yes,
I
guys.
appreciate that.
All right, that's Tiger Claw Tattoo. And good people, and we'll have Shay back on here. I've probably said that 13 times over the past 2 years.
Yeah, you
And
have.
we'll get him eventually, but Tiger Claw Tattoo, those are our people. I want to talk about another business. Subway is right now bitching because of this. Because everybody's walking around
Right.
looking like fucking bank robbers and shit. They got the mask on
Yeah,
and shit. They look like fucking 1920s bank robbers. Subway is bitching about not making money. All right? The people...
How do billion dollar, and I don't know what Subway's, I don't know what their net value is, but how do $1 billion companies need money?
Okay, can I go one step further?
Yes.
All right, because I always go one step further, right? How can a company that had a pedophile for a fucking spokesperson and they're making dick-shaped sandwiches, the sandwiches are shaped like dicks, you think they just shut the fuck up and let this shit pass right now? You know what I'm saying? Doc, am I serious? You know what I mean?
I don't even know what you're talking about, but I agree with you 100%.
That's the Boston right there. I got your back. But no, Subway's bitching that they can't make no money right now because of this fucking shutdown, man. And you got fucking Jared in prison for molesting kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Fuck that. Shut the fuck up, Subway. Another thing I want to talk to you. Doc, you said you didn't play sports. You don't know sports. You're not coordinated, but you know who the Globetrotters are, right?
Absolutely.
Harlem Globetrotters. You know who
everybody
passed
knows
away?
Globetrotters.
Curly Neal.
I know.
Curly,
The ball-headed
yeah.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ball-headed one died, man.
I know.
And Wood, for me and you, that's a special place in our heart.
It is.
Right?
It
'Cause
is.
he's
It
one of
really
the early
is.
ball-head brothers.
He is.
Never even looked
What-
at both of you to make that.
There was him, there was Curly Neal, Isaac Hayes, and Telly Savalas. Those were the only ball-headed people back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yep.
And
Made a
they said, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then me and Wood showed up with our receding hairlines. I
Yeah.
said, let's chase it, right?
My gypsy grandmother, God rest
Cheers.
her soul, because she passed away, she would take me every year that the Globetrotters would come here to Utah, and we would go sit. Back then it was at the Salt Palace.
Okay.
So this was a long time ago. And we'd go watch. and what a great time. They put on a great show.
Absolutely. Without
Some
question.
of the best basketball I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Early pioneers of civil rights. And it's like, you know, off the courts, they couldn't find a hotel room and whatnot. But, you know, they'd show up to a show and everyone would pay their tickets and go.
So the same people that would deny them the hotel room are the same people that are paying the money to go watch them on the court.
Yes.
Isn't that a weird fucking dichotomy right there?
Strange, man.
But
what
you know, those are the early pioneers of all civil rights, and we got to pay tribute to this guy. What's his name?
Curly Neal.
Curly Neal.
I couldn't have made it back then. I talked about that last week.
Yeah,
no, okay, so you bring this up and talk about civil rights and shit. You grew up in Boston in the 70s and 80s. Remember Charles Smith? No, was it Charles Smith? Charles Stewart. You don't remember the Charles Stewart story? The white dude that killed his wife, shot himself, and said that some black dude did it, and they were kicking him doors in the projects. You don't remember that story?
That's so horrible. I have no idea what you're talking about.
He ended up killing himself because the cops were finding out that he did it.
Horrible. So Keith and I were from different, let alone we were probably 12 miles apart, but we were like grew up in totally different.
Isn't that weird?
In atmospheres, yes.
Isn't that weird?
I'm a semi-white girl from the suburbs.
Why you say semi-white?
What's the semi?
Semi-white. I got my Jufro, you know, it's Utah, so it's all straightened out with like no humidity. My dad's from Baghdad, Iraq, but grew up in it. Everyone's different, so it's not like here in Utah where you stick out like a sore thumb, right?
Right.
But in Boston, it's like everyone's from somewhere, right? But I'm not like 400 years old generation of lobster fishermen, so I'm not one of those guys.
400-year Bostonian, yeah.
Right, and your look too. So I'm sure kids growing up ask you, where are you from?
What are you? Right.
You Italian or Greek or Jewish or whatever the case, right? I'm sure you got a lot of that.
The nose alone, right? Right, yeah, totally.
You said that, not me. Have you ever been over to Baghdad?
No, I have not. My dad left when he was 16. And this is like super long. If you're into history, this is like gone for this wax on for days.
I love history.
But my dad actually left the country before shit hit the fan. But basically, Jews and Muslims and Christians had lived there for thousands of years without a problem. And post World War II, there was some anti-colonialist sentiment towards kicking out the British and the French rule, so people were Nazi sympathizers and said fuck everybody else, we got to get rid of everybody in order to just shed the colonialists. And so again, people who had lived together forever without a problem all of a sudden now
suddenly became a problem.
Exactly. So my dad happened to leave when he was 16. He's fucking smart. He went to MIT when he was 16 years old.
MIT?
Damn.
Yes. Shit. I know.
Damn.
I'm like the underachiever of
Check
the
out the
family,
big
right?
brain
I know.
on Dad.
Look at the room we're sitting in here.
Anyway.
Holy shit. We dumbed her down.
Can we get Dad on the fucking podcast?
No kidding. So seriously, we'll call him over. He visits all the time. Anyway, so he left before the shit hit the fan. But I mean, there was like people like murdered in the streets. It was like fucking mayhem. And he actually he could talk about it for hours if you let him. Anyway. Long story short, he ended up in MIT as an awkward teenage kid who didn't know any better and not showering and whatnot, being from the Middle East. Got the shit kicked out of him as Southie. Keith, you know what I'm talking about.
Your dad went to Southie?
Yes.
He had the brown skin, the olive skin?
No, he's actually pretty fair, but he got the shit kicked out of him more than once.
That's his fault.
Is that because
he was at the wrong place?
I was going to say, is that because of that, or is that because of where he's from?
No, if you're not from Southie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you got to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
If you're not from Southie, if you are from Southie, circa from before time till probably
now.
90, probably 2002.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when they started gentrifying it and
Yes.
shit with all it now, because now the gays live over there,
Right,
right?
totally.
Which was weird to me. I went home and my cousin, I was like, where the fuck are we? She's like, we're in South Boston. I ducked down behind the seat. I was like, get the fuck out of here. She's like, no, it's different now.
It's like, boutique coffee shops.
Yeah.
And,
Southie back in the day,
Ice
if
cream.
you weren't white, especially white Irish Catholic,
yeah, totally.
you got your ass fucked up, man.
Wow.
They
Yes,
would beat your ass.
absolutely.
They drag you out the car at a stop sign. Am I lying? They drag you out of the car at a red light and beat your fucking head in, man.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck, man.
Same country, different world.
Yes.
Totally
so
different world,
back
yes.
to what you were saying, Doc. You and I are from the same place, but different upbringing. All right.
Yes.
Maybe you could walk. I don't know. 100 yards in the Southie, right? Right? Because you're a girl, right? And then,
Yeah.
Hey, check out the rack on that panoli,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Right.
Actually, when I was 15, I had a boyfriend named Joey Ferguson, and I would go hook up with. I'd go with my Metco friends into the city. You know,
Metco?
get my free ride into Boston. Through the Boston.
Meco's code for black.
Yes.
All right.
Take the public school black transport from the suburbs into the city. Be like, I'm riding with my friend, so I could save my $10, train ticket into the city, and I go hook up with my friend Joey Ferguson. And I was like 18.
Where did he live? Where did he live?
He lived in Jamaica Plain, I think.
Joey Ferguson. So Joey Ferguson wasn't black, was he?
No. He's a nice, probably Irish. Descendant.
But Jamaica
kid.
Plain, and there's two sides of Jamaica Plain. There's the black side. There's the Irish Italian side.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were in that side, and it was like totally fucked up. If you're on the wrong side of tracks, wrong time, you like look out. But again, nothing ever happened to me. I was.
For some reason, you were blessed not to get the busted lip, top and bottom.
Again, never been hit in my life. Got really lucky.
That's crazy.
But okay. I lived through all that time. It was good times. I'm glad it's all kind of evened out now, and everyone's all spread out and understanding each other. But it was crazy back in the day.
So you remember busing? You remember the fights with the busing?
Absolutely. Yes.
There's a famous picture with a black dude, and I think it's City Hall, Boston. He's got a suit on, and there's two white guys attacking him, and they have the American flag, and they're taking the spear of the eagle and going to stab him. Do you know that picture I'm talking about?
I think you've shown me that.
So
I think you've shown me that picture, and I think you've talked to me about this story before.
Yeah. That's how Boston was in 70s and 80s, man.
And it's not that long ago.
No, it's not.
To go back to our conversation that we had last week is, Doc, how, for you, 1990, how long ago was that? Like, when you think about it. How long ago was it?
I think way back. I was in high school.
No. I'm not saying where you were. I'm saying
what does it seem like?
What does it feel like to you? 1990. Yesterday?
Not tumultuous whatsoever. Easy times.
And a couple of years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1990 for me feels like the other day.
Yeah.
And now here we are, 2020.
Right.
But 1990 feels like the other day. So imagine our parents, because we're all generally kind of the same age. So 1990. Imagine your parents now 30 years up to 1990. That's 1960.
Right.
And now what do they think in 1990? Holy shit, 1960 was yesterday.
Yeah.
Right.
And what are we in the middle of the 1960s?
Right.
All the civil rights.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it doesn't surprise me. It's shitty, and we've got a ways to go. But anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but,
no,
to your point.
Let's break it down. On very general terms, a lot has happened, and great strides have been made, especially in Boston. Boston was the most racist city in all of the United States for the longest time, and up until the 90s, I think it has absolutely been conquered by diversity. It's a beautiful place if you go down and walk down the street. Granted, it's you will not find any place other than Boston, Massachusetts. Feels like such a melting pot. Maybe in New York City. But it's a very safe, beautiful city. Everyone gets along fairly well now, right?
Yeah.
Not even 30 years ago.
Yeah, right. Because the Red Sox, the team that I love, they were the last one to integrate, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you a story. This is back in the '80s. My cousin, all right, he found an Irish girl that he fell in love with and married, which was unheard of back in the '80s.
Yeah.
My other cousin, which was a local DJ, played at their wedding. Okay, so we're at the wedding. On the right side is all black.
It was separated.
On the left side is all white. All right, no problem.
Yeah.
They go to kiss each other. The priest goes, "You may now kiss the bride." And my cousin dropped on the needle, right on the words, "It's a nice day for a white wedding." And I thought, I thought my cousin that was getting married was going to kill my cousin that was a DJ. I thought a fight was going to break out.
Yeah.
Nancy, I thought it was the funniest fucking thing I ever heard in my life.
Oh my God!
Because the minister goes, "You may now kiss the bride," and he drops the needle as
It's
they
a
kiss.
nice
It's a nice day for a white wedding. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And that song was out then. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was the division of Boston.
Yes.
Man. But like you said, now
So
it's a lot. It has changed. It's
really
weird.
has.
But when you move away and you come back and you're like in South Boston, you still duck behind a passenger seat because you think, "Here come the bottles and the rocks," because that's the way it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think about this Lori Loughlin and this whole I want my kids to be on the rowboat team and I'm cheating to get them on there?
Shit.
You said you suck at sports.
Yeah.
All right, you suck. All right, you said you had an older brother that was good. Is he the only one that's good?
Absolutely. It was like the golden child.
He's the golden child because he was good at sports. Your kids, do any of them play
No,
sports?
they're like
so
two
they
left
got
hands,
they got your shitty genes in terms of athleticism.
Thank you. There's the brains, okay?
Because the one can't open a fucking microwave and take
Right.
out,
No, he can't.
take out hot water,
Not at all.
right?
She pegged him right there.
So would you ever hype your kids up to be something else to get them a scholarship.
Which makes me think this. Before you answer that question, so she pays to have them on to get them into school and on some like the rowing team or some
it was
bullshit,
rowing,
right?
And who the fuck does a rowing team?
Nobody.
Anyway.
So, but then it makes me wonder. So, how many of these people, these celebrities or ex-celebrities or rich people, pay to put their kids on these sports that probably have no business on them? Then how good is that sport? Could I then get in a rowing boat and just be like, bah,
I would think so.
Okay.
You with semi-athleticism, right?
Right, yeah. And I don't need my ankle for it. I just need my arms for it. I could build that muscle up without tearing something, I imagine. And why can't I be on it now? So are we paying, and now are we watching a sport that we think is so elite, but they've just paid for the kid to be in there, so it's not really elite.
Right. Well, probably their kid is not actually playing in it whatsoever.
I
right?
know,
right?
but this is where my mind goes.
But this
with
is
it,
like
'cause I get pissed off.
Sure. Money buys you a lot. What can you say? Money buys you
skin.
pretty skin.
Good
Exactly. money buys you everything. So, this is just the way the world has worked forever. And there's like a fine line between, this is just how it's been done forever, right? And so it's just brought into the light now. Fuck it. It's like, she should have just admitted guilt and got on with it. Just like the other lady, right?
Just be like, yep.
The other lady did her 6
Sorry.
weeks in jail and she was over it. Well, I can't remember that.
They probably took her picture and sent her home.
Right. I mean, seriously, and honestly, she's so stupid for just denying it. It's like, fuck
what
it,
are you
did
doing?
it, right? I know. So, fuck her. She's a Beatrice anyway. If she gets time for this, fuck her. But I mean, this is how the world works. It's just the light is finally shown onto it, right? I mean, if you think that it's all about who you know and what you know, right?
But I
and
think it's still going on.
Of course it is. And it always will.
These ones were caught. Because how many NCAA basketball violations and football, my guy Reggie Bush, like how many of those things go on, but it's still going on.
Yes.
They get caught, they get penalized, there's sanctions and blah, blah, blah. It's still happening. Who gives a shit? She's going to go to court, she's going to whatever.
Right.
But there's still some rich asshole that's paying for their kid to go to some sport and make me think that I could compete even at my age when I have no business competing.
What can you do? Money talks. That's all I can say.
All the time.
All the time.
And I'm sure you could have a conversation with it, right?
Yes. Only on the peripheral.
On the peripheral, you do. So what's your day like? What do you get up and do? Here you go. You know your shit, and you know you got to deal with this asshole. You know you got to deal with this fucking disease.
No, fuck. I love my patients.
I know you do, but some people are assholes. All right.
Sure.
Yeah, they are.
Totally.
So you get up and you got your full head of hair and you got your nice skin, right? All right. Here you go. You go to
I can buy.
Right.
No, I
no
know. I love
skin
it,
tags. Despite my age and my weight, I have no skin tags.
I don't know if the majority of your listeners are from Utah, but culturally here in Utah, there's a saying. It's a bordering on religiousness, but all things in moderation. Damn, if you live a clean life, I mean, you're gonna look all right. You're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be all right. I would not. I think all 20-year-olds should totally fuck up so they can learn something. But in general, by the time you're our age, we should all just wake up, exercise for an hour, go to work, and be grateful we're alive at the end of the day.
So to give you a little bit of perspective on our demographic,
yes,
we have a lot of Utah people.
Okay.
The majority are California,
okay,
followed by France.
Okay.
However that works out, who the hell knows?
And Belize, because we got a lot of bitch Belize.
So random.
Some bitch Belize up in here.
Is it humid atmosphere? Is humid better for humidity? Is humidity better for your skin?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because it keeps it moisturized.
Yes, totally.
Keeps it moist.
Yeah. It's not extracting the moisture from your skin. It's like bringing it in. You look great.
Dry as bad and moisture.
Look at your knuckles, Keith.
You're slurring, Keith. Thank you. Look at your knuckles and you're slurring. You had way too much porters.
Damn.
Snaggles is kicking his ass. This is week 2.
Yeah.
Aloe vera plant. Does that really work? All right, here's what I want to talk to you about. We talked about burns earlier. Burns. So my nana would say put butter on it which I'm sure, which I'm
That's
sure it doesn't work. You've been in some
it's
houses.
fine, no.
You've been in Jamaica Plain projects. You know about that. And then after that, everybody's got the aloe vera plant,
Yes.
and it's
Totally, yes.
It works. Hell yeah,
that
it works.
that really
Fuck yeah,
works.
yes.
So
Yes.
once you get a burn, is it aloe vera then butter or butter then aloe vera?
No,
Or-
just aloe vera.
You know what?
Period.
Aloe vera great, but butter great too. Whatever whatever makes a barrier over your skin. Again, remember your body. You're fucking amazing. Human beings are amazing.
I am amazing.
creatures.
Oh, I thought
Absolutely.
you meant just me. I thought you
Just
meant me. Okay.
We are amazing creatures. If you let your body heal, don't pick and scratch at things. You allow it to heal by itself. It'll do its job. If you just put a barrier over something, butter, aloe vera, whatever the fuck you want,
Aloe
it'll do
vera's-
its job. It'll do its job if you just protect it and let it do its thing.
Listen, as a borderline albino, aloe vera on a sunburn is the most glorious thing you've ever put on your body, because it takes that heat away, and then you feel cool, and you can actually lay on your back. If you get a sunburn on your back, you can put a hat back on your head.
Right on.
Aloe vera is beautiful.
So there's actually an aloe vera gel with aloe vera
Yes.
with lidocaine at Smith's. I mean, you can buy
Yeah,
it over the counter.
that shit's awesome because it takes the pain
Fantastic.
away.
Takes the pain away. So again, it's like you're just protecting your skin until your cells regenerate.
But
It does its own thing.
My
but
grandmother and great grandmother always had an aloe vera plant.
Yes.
And I would come over. Oh, this okay. They'd cut a little part of it. We'd put that shit on me, and it was great.
right on.
Always.
Always.
Do you know
It
a
was
lot
awesome.
about deodorant? Is deodorant good or bad for you? Is that out your
Oh
field?
my gosh.
Aside from the smell,
Crazy.
is it
question.
good or bad for
Oh.
you? Because I've wondered that real quick. I have not done a thing in a month and 2 days now because I've been hurt.
He's fucked
Wait,
up.
no deodorant whatsoever.
Yeah, and so I have not
Okay.
been wearing deodorant just to
Awesome.
see how it
So
goes.
great.
And it
That's good.
now that I got over the friction of my arms and my armpit,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world.
know.
I don't even smell anymore because I don't do anything.
No.
But this is great.
Right.
I feel
so-
like it should give me cancer when I put it on.
That's what I heard. I heard deodorant gives you cancer.
No, it certainly does not.
Full of shit. Okay.
No, totally full of shit. That aluminum, melds with the salts of your skin and just basically creates a barrier so
Damn
your
it.
sweat cannot come out.
I was just becoming a hippie for no reason.
But anyway, you can avoid just like the wetness by using antiperspirant. However, you can use deodorant, totally separate entities whatsoever, right? So you can buy deodorant that's just deodorant. It's got
Gets rid of the smell.
right?
So
right?
like that Axe body spray shit.
like a
Ugh.
6th grade gym class.
Yeah,
right on.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But
It's
if you're
awful.
wet and your shirts are wet, you need antiperspirant just because that will
okay.
stop the sweating.
Okay.
However, if you want to save up your Christmas money, put it all together, get something called Mirror Dry. It'll actually close
It's called what?
Mirror Dry. It's a
Mirror dry?
It's a procedure that will go
Oh.
in and actually close up that gland that's like overactive, right? So you're not like wet all the time.
All right. So do you just do it under the arms, or do you do it anywhere I need it?
It's the only place you can do it is under the
Yeah,
arms.
so it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
right.
Well, unless
Mirror
you're like one of
dry?
those people who's like wet and drippy. Yes.
Doc,
Mirror dry.
you,
Mirror dry.
you know deodorant I use? And I
What
don't know if
do you
I've ever
use?
said this on the podcast.
What do you use?
I'm fully transparent.
Okay.
I've
Old
been using
Spice.
since
Bring it on.
since 1991. I've been using Secret,
Oh, women's secret?
Strong enough for a man.
but made for a man. I use that shit like it's a fucking. I
Good
love
for you.
Secret.
Good for you.
No, and I'll tell you what, because I ran out of Speed Stick one time, and
Yeah.
this girl I was dating used Secret. And so
Secret, yeah,
I
yeah.
used it, and I went and played ball, and I wasn't stinking so bad. So I said, "Fuck, this shit works." Because I noticed little
I've
nuances
always
like
wondered
that.
why you smelled like flowers.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, Keith, I just want to cut you up, put you in a bouquet, and put you in a
Keith
vase
makes me
somewhere.
want to get a manicure.
That's why I always have pedicures when we're done.
I also knew somebody that didn't use soap in the shower. They said soap dried out your skin, so they just use water.
I don't know,
It seems
Yeah.
gross.
I almost dropped
Like-
her name. I almost said her name, but
like-
she didn't wear soap.
That
She didn't use soap.
that to me is like what it's like taking a bath.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get in a bath because I feel like all I'm doing is washing the nasty in the water on my body
And then you're, like,
getting
soaking in
out.
it, right?
Yeah.
Well, Keith, unless your friend was on the Framingham to like Boston Metco program, I wouldn't know her. But again, I only know Shonda Sheffield, Shaquana Bleach. That's all I know. That's all I know. Anyway, totally, whatever works for you is totally fine. Again, some people have like excessive sweating.
But
you
use
can actually
soap.
shrink that shit down. Always use soap. Absolutely.
Hyperhidrosis.
How do you know that?
He Googled something.
No, do I have I have a friend. All right, I used to run with this dude, and this motherfucker sweat like he was standing in hell. And I'm talking about this is in line for lunch, okay?
Yeah.
And so I looked it up because we would tease him and shit, and so I found out it's called hyperhidrosis. And it's actually a condition where your hands sweat and your back, under your arms, your ass, flop sweat everywhere.
Yes,
Poor guy. I felt so bad
Nasty.
for him sometimes.
Aww.
Yeah.
He had like old man great grandpa ball sweat going on
Oh,
all the time.
wow.
It smelled like that sour nasty.
Why would the
shoot.
palm of your hand sweat?
Yeah.
Why you don't? I wouldn't think you had a
I
lot
knew
of
a
sweat
girl
glands
like
here.
that in high school. Anytime I tried to hold, it was just like always sweating gross. She's like, I'm sorry, I sweat all the time.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
that seems
I'm
like,
sorry, I'm not going to talk to you anymore.
Well,
Oh,
see, that's where you played it wrong. That
so
seems like
cruel.
a constant state of lubrication, and you should have.
Have you? No,
Should have
if you
appreciated
ever
her
listen,
natural talent.
if you've ever done that after sports or after activity, that turns into salty friction.
Yeah.
And it's just rashes and irritation.
Take out your
after
Vaseline
that.
now. Let's bring it all around. Let's bring it
Back-
full circle.
circle.
There's Aquaphor on that.
It's all about balance, man.
So, Doc, what can people learn about in terms of skin? How serious skin cancer is? Because you said that's mostly what you deal with.
Yes.
And anybody can get skin cancer from dark to light and everything in between.
Yes.
How do we protect ourselves? What do we need to do? Sunblock. That's a
Yes,
big deal.
Nobody wants to hear this, but sunblock.
I don't own any, but keep talking.
I do lots of it, but I've also heard that after a certain SPF, it's just silly.
So after 50 SPF, your protective up to is not going to change that much as far as percentage goes.
So if I buy the 45, which is what I typically do, 45 is
okay, we'll let it go 45, but you got to
So
reapply
I should go
after.
50.
No, your 45 is fine, but
Okay.
reapply after 2 hours. It's
Yeah,
only
yeah, I
protected
do.
for about 2 hours. So most people, you're hanging out on the beach all day. You're up in Bear Lake. You're boating with somebody. I've got
Mm-hmm.
a friend.
Did you say
Reapply.
boning?
Boating.
Oh, I
No, I heard boning.
I thought you
That
said
was like,
boning. I was like,
okay,
hey,
my
I'm
ass is.
slurring. It's quarters. I'm on 3, 4.
I was like,
big
my
cups of
ass needs
whiskey.
more than 2 hours worth of SPF because
He's a lot of priming.
my ass is very pasty. You think
I know where
just
you're hanging
what
out,
you could
but-
see. If you think what you could see is pasty, you see my ass. It'll blind you. You need sunglasses.
Basically, after 2 hours of hanging out, your SPF is garbage. You got to reapply. Nobody wants
Okay.
to hear that. Everybody wants to be like golden tan and all these
No,
Utah white people with Scandinavian descent. You got to just admit you're a
talked
pasty
about
white
this-
person. You need to reapply.
We
your
talked about this,
sunscreen.
I think, last summer actually, about that tanning back in like the slave trade.
Oh.
No, it was you stayed inside because you had slaves to do all the work for you.
That's blue blood.
So you were pasty white.
That's blue blood,
right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then because you had the money to have the slaves to do the work for you,
Yep.
and then as you became wealthy,
It was a status.
it was a status thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then the status became you had money so you could go to the beach because it changed.
Ooh.
So now you could go to the beach and you
Mm-hmm.
could become tan. So now the status is you go out to the beach because you can afford to take work off and go out
Leisure.
and play on the beach.
Yep.
Right? So now you become tan. So now we're caught in this tan looks good, but it's terrible for your skin.
Totally.
Terrible for your skin.
Yes. This is like it's like phasing out. I mean, it's like I still
Like
have these
tanning
ladies-
salons, I very rarely see them anymore because it used to be a thing.
Right.
Like in the late 90s, early aughts, huge.
Doc, I
Fading.
knew a girl. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it was one of my friends' girl. This dumb bitch would go up on the fucking roof and put Crisco on her body. And
Oh, my hell.
I knew back in '88 that was a
Yes.
stupid idea because you're trying to cook yourself. She'd
Yeah.
put Crisco on her body. She'd be in the bed for 2 fucking days with
Yeah.
sunburn, and then she'd have this quote unquote golden tan.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
Alright.
So
that's
fucked up.
silly.
Stupid,
Stupid bitch.
stupid bitch.
It's fine. She's making my salary. It's great. I'm not complaining at
So-
all.
so
Go
the-
keep going to tanning salons.
So the young
White ladies,
kids
we're
that
fine.
are the young kids that are looking out for those tans are future clients, basically.
No, but basically nowadays, really anyone who's like under 40 is so hyper vigilant about worrying about sunscreen.
They're better about it, right?
They're so better about it. Thank
That's
God I
because-
only have 20 years left to work.
That's
I will
because-
be out of a job in 20 years.
That's because
So
the
all
plus
those
40s,
kids-
the plus 40s didn't understand it.
No. They're way more vain. They're way more worried about how they
Idiots.
looked. Absolutely. Everyone under 40 is like, they're on the ball and they have vitamin D deficiency. They're a bunch of pasty white people. And they put me out of a job.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll be retired by then.
Lee
Thank
Haney.
God.
Do you know who Lee Haney is?
No.
Lee Haney's a bodybuilder from the late 80s, early 90s, all right? Dark brother. He used to tan. Mm-hmm. Because
What?
the darkness would help his muscles.
Accentuate the
Yeah, so even the
muscles,
black
yes.
people tan in the bodybuilding world. Mm-hmm. Is that stupid? And does he have to
Yes.
go longer than just, the wood style? I mean, I think wood could last
imagine.
2 minutes in the sun.
Right.
Based off of my
Right.
experience, which was me 15 minutes burning in the sun, you 15 minutes and just soaking it all up.
Loved it.
Right.
And I burned, you didn't, so I would imagine he would have to go 45 minutes
Right.
to feel it.
Because he's more of a protective value, for sure.
Yeah.
So the melanin is what protection.
Right on. So, like, I actually have a patient. Privacy violation. I will not say his name or what he does, and I always get it wrong anyway. But he's
Kurt Russell.
No, I wish. He's some type of literally world champion. Like, I say bodybuilding, it always offends him quietly. But he's some type of he's a nice white boy. He's he's our age, Keith. He's in his late 40s or so, maybe early 50s, and he's totally buff. And he had tanned forever.
Do you always want to check his crotch for the cysts and shit?
I know, I've seen so many naked men, and let me tell you, when you're in that vulnerable position, leaning in the chair, nobody's excited.
Nobody's sexy, huh?
Nobody's sexy that moment. They're like, well, fuck, what are you looking at? John spent so long right there
Hold
where you
on,
are. Anyway.
Let me grab the tip. Let me yank on it, because this isn't normal, Doc. I promise.
I know. Anyway, this guy has had a couple of skin cancers, and he's so hyper vigilant about using them. There actually are ways, again, other than melanoma. Melanoma is its own animal, but the carcinomas, which are incredibly common, there are treatments for that. There are actually preventive measures to do that. And some people they know what they've done. They admit, okay, fuck, I've gone to a tanning bed for years and years. Okay, well, I'm going to give you this cream that's going to kill all of your abnormal cells that will potentially grow into skin cancer. I have a ton of patients using that. I give it out like fucking birthday present, party
Halloween
gifts.
candy.
Yes,
huh?
Halloween candy at the end of your visit. At least 10 times a day. I'm like, go for it. Send me pictures. Tell me how it was. It's horrible, but it's going to kill all your bad cells. You can be super proactive about it, especially you nice white boys in Utah. I've got tons of sun damage.
Yeah.
There are remedies for you. You don't have to be like your grandpa who has crusty old man skin. There's ways to prevent this. You can come see this. There's a ton of preventative measures to do so.
So I have an 11-year-old son. He's a ginger.
Just one?
Aw.
The one that's here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The other one, I don't worry about him because his skin's a little bit darker. He
Okay.
lives south of the Texan border.
Got it.
Doesn't matter. But
Children all over the globe. This one, yes.
that's right. Okay. So this particular one, he's got freckles all over, right? And in the summertime, they're even worse. He gets more and more freckles. Well, over the last few years, 4 or 5 or so years, I've noticed the similar type freckles on the top of my noggin. I feel like those are worse, though, than the freckles on his cheeks.
Totally. So if you have, especially you're gently speaking, lacking hair, sure, fine.
I'm bald as hell.
Okay,
and
fine.
it's been this way for
But
almost 20 years.
We
But if
prefer
you-
follically challenged.
follicle challenge. I love it. That's so great. I'm going to use that. Thank you. If you rub your hand on top of your follically challenged scalp and your temples and all your sun exposed areas, if you are a white man with blue eyes and green eyes and you've had lots of sun exposure,
It's me.
you're
I'm
at
beautiful.
much higher risk for skin cancer.
I feel like
it's
that's
just
true.
it's a known fact. It's statistically proven. So if you have this crusty kind of sandpapery patch that just keeps occurring, or a red patch that comes up every time you get some extra sun on you, that is a pre-cancer.
Oh.
Meaning your cells have been destroyed.
Oh, boy.
They're abnormal. Come see me. There's a way to prevent that from turning into
Looks
skin
like
cancer.
I'll be calling in an appointment soon.
All right.
What about the freckles on my little redhead boy? What's
he's
that?
fine. Just give him sun protection.
Oh yeah, I do.
Make sure he doesn't get burned. That's fine. There's
Even in the wintertime, I dip him, I bathe him in that shit and
Nice.
send him to
Oh,
school.
good.
If there's any bit of sun out, he's got
Yeah.
sun protection. But it doesn't matter. It seems like the freckles just in the summer pop even more.
Yeah.
It's like,
Totally fine.
is that something to worry about?
Yes, no, it's totally fine. So if he's just genetically prone to like have some freckles, he's okay with that. But it's just like when there's chronically sun exposed, like if this is 100 years ago and you owned a farm and you were making that boy labor out all day, like, you know, funneling hay and working on horses and shit. Sure, that shit's gonna turn into skin cancer.
That's not me.
Okay.
My hands are super soft.
Okay.
There's no manual labor here.
Okay. But like that's fine. So he's gonna get freckly. It's totally fine. Those are gonna come and go with the sun. It's okay. He'll be all right. But it's like that's long-term sun exposure that's gonna turn into cancer.
You as a dermatologist, we already talked about. You get people walking up to you all the time, going, "What's this? Diagnose me for free," so they can move on and get the Olive Garden fucking breadsticks, right?
Yeah.
My boy T just sent me this, and he wants to know what this is. He says hydrocortisone isn't working, and it's not a fungal infection.
That's his lower back.
That's his son's lower back.
Okay. So I hate to say this, but is this like something that's rubbing against his lower back? And
so he's 18, 19?
18, 19, yeah.
So I'm guessing his son. I'm gonna hate to guesstimate what his son's going through, but I'm guessing he's like going from a skinny kid to like a man, right? So his skin is like growing, it's stretching, and now he's like regular man size, right? And that's right what his belt is rubbing against, is his lower back, right where his belt is rubbing. It's a lot of friction. It's going to cause a hyperpigmentation. That's just fact of life, right?
Okay.
He's going to kind of get over it, right?
So just deal with it?
Deal with it. It's just like we're all human beings. We're not like perfect.
Change where your belt line is.
Right.
Wear it a little bit lower. Go late 90s route and wear the hip stuff instead of this, like wear your pants up to your nipple line.
Right.
Right?
But as far as skin cancer goes, that's not skin cancer, right? Skin cancer would be a very marcated thing that's like a non-healing lesion. But like all those like benign discolorations are just going to come as we're human beings. We're like imperfect human beings, right? Anything that rubs, and if we're growing quickly or if we're like heavier than when we were stick skinny, like we're going to have this like discoloration. It's just the way our skin's going to move, right? So we don't have to sweat small stuff. Gotta let that thing go. It's like we're so used to seeing perfect magazine covers.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Right?
But what we do is we pick ourselves. We look in the mirror and we're like, oh, what's that? What's this? What's that?
Yep.
And you're like, oh, is that normal? Is this normal? You know what I mean?
In general, unless something is a pinpointed, like small tic tac size thing that's like super irregular, think cancer. Anything else, not cancer.
So
right?
you say you see a lot of older people, and that, I imagine that's because, given our demographic here, you see a lot of the farmers and all that. They've been out in the sun a lot. But do you find that with the younger generation, they're more hypochondriacs, kind of, because so they come in for everything? We're like our generation, we're like, I'm good. Unless something hurts or is falling off,
not me,
I'm not coming up. Except for Keith.
Not me.
Keith
I had
gets
Michael
a hang
Jackson.
now.
Remember I had Michael Jackson? I don't give a fuck.
But anybody outside of Keith, I feel like if you're the Gen X, you're probably like, you know what? Screw it. Let's rock and roll. I can push through it. Anyone, Gen Y, Gen
Raised
Z.
by baby boomers,
Gen
right?
Y, Gen Z, I feel like they're more... Because doctors are more accessible now.
Right.
And they're like,
or the elder millennials, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've got this. I need to go get it checked. I got this. So is that real or is it?
No,
or
you're so like right on the nail, right? So like anyone under than 40, it's like shit. I mean, I've had a couple of patients, like a handful, who are like very specific people. Like they had a job, like okay, I'm a lifty at Powder Mountain, or you know what I'm saying? Like they have full on. Or I've worked in a tanning salon and I've done this for X amount of years. Yes, you have a cancer, right? The vast majority of people have not have a cancer, right? Unless you've been outside for a long time, right? So you're like easy money me. Come on in, come check me out. I'll gladly come see you.
Takes you 2 seconds to make $1,000.
I'll come see you look you over head's toe, but I'm going to tell you look great.
We kind of have to change our jokes a little bit. I was going to say, hey, all of you millennials that have been in your mom's basement, you don't need to worry about it. But it's actually the millennials are now older, so we actually have to talk to the Gen Z. Is it Gen Z?
Oof,
that
fuck,
are
I'm
past
so
millennial?
Yes.
The ones that are younger than the millennials kids. Those are the ones that we have to be like, hey, listen. You haven't gone anywhere, done any damn thing. You're fine.
Yes.
take your vitamins, eat normal, and you'll be
all right.
just fine, okay?
Totally, yes. I mean, really, the younger people I've seen who have had skin cancer, again, it's basal cell carcinoma, which is not going to kill you overnight. Those are people who love tanning beds. They're people who work outdoors. They're construction workers, or they're ski lift operators. Those are it. That's it.
I've told this story before on the podcast.
Okay.
There was a summer I was working outside. This is decades ago, okay? And I said, fuck it, okay? This is how I learned I was losing my hair, first of all. I said, fuck it. I'm going to be the biggest afro, blackest motherfucker on the planet. And all I did was be out in the sun. I could only be out in the sun. That's all.
This is my favorite story. Keep
I
going.
could only get so fucking dark,
Yeah.
right? I thought I could get, like, Wesley Snipes.
Right.
I couldn't make it.
Ethiopian dark, yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right? I thought
That's
I could.
Kosi.
Yeah. I thought I could, but I could only get so fucking dark. I wanted to get black in the motherfucker. I want to scare white people all day long is what I wanted to do. And when I started growing my fro, my shit was way back here, and I was like, oh shit, Sherman Hemsley. So I had to shave my shit off because George Jefferson, right? But can you only get so dark? You know what I mean? So, like, Wood.
True.
I mean, Wood couldn't get my complexion.
No.
And I can't get, obviously, Wesley's complexion.
Right.
But you can get darker. So how many shades, when somebody tans, how many shades, generally speaking, because you can't speak
Right.
for the world, how many shades darker can you get? Like you have a little something
Little
going
something
to you.
in
A
there,
little
yeah.
olive, little, hey, what is
Yeah.
she? She Puerto Rican? She green?
You can go for anything, sure. Flavor of the month, sure.
But you can only get so dark.
For sure. There's it's what's called a Fitzgerald scale, so it's your skin is actually
Why
on
does it
a
have an
scale.
Irish name?
I know,
because-
fuck those.
Yeah, I'm with you. Fuck those Irish, right?
I know. They really haven't contributed much. Okay, but
Not
give us the
everything.
Fitzgerald scale. So one is your pure ginger, or what they call super redhead, right?
Where's an albino?
They'd be a 1 for sure.
Okay.
So next would be a 2 would be your what they call, I never heard this expression until I moved to Utah, towhead.
Yeah,
So
towhead.
Super blonde.
That's a blonde.
Never heard of that,
Yeah,
right?
never
That's
heard
not
that
a
either.
I got a
that's
bunch of
not an
friends.
expression in
That's
Boston.
not here.
I got a bunch of friends that are towheads. Well, they're
Yes.
kids mostly. And then they
super
kind of grow out of
blondies.
it.
It just
Right.
means a blonde kid with fair skin.
So
Yeah.
fair.
But
they're
like almost white blonde. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
And then
like
because-
Aryan youth, yes.
Because then it becomes like dirty blonde.
Yes.
It's called the master race.
Yes,
Is what it's called, right?
exactly.
And
Like
then they
that,
grow
yes.
out of it at the age of 10. They're thrown out of it.
then they leave the Boy Scouts. The Aryan youth was based on the Boy Scouts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
I did-
so we're all on the same page. Okay. So that's a Fitzgerald type 2. 3 is just your average, dirty blonde, light brown haired, right? So your Fitzgerald 4 is like me. I'm like a kind of brown, little tan. I tan easily, right? But I'm super dark. 5, you're a nice Puerto Rican girl with big hoop earrings, okay? Yeah.
Got all
Rosie
that
Perez.
sass. Yeah.
My ears just perked up,
I know.
okay?
Yeah.
I know.
I feel like she's
I
yelling
tried
at
to
us
play it
somewhere.
on for you. Okay.
Rosario Dawson, right?
She's screaming at
Exactly.
us in some
Sounds like a
form.
4, a heavy 4, light 5, okay? And then your 6 is an African American guy. And then there's different levels of every number, right? So
Okay.
it's nothing's perfect.
So
right?
I could
it's
go from
a
a
6.
1 to a 3.
I would say a solid 2.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah,
all day
uh-huh.
long.
Now moving
Take a
past
2.
it.
I'm like a heavy 3,
Oh,
light
okay,
4.
okay.
You're like a light 5.
Uh-huh.
Not even close to a 6.
Got it.
Okay,
Damn.
just saying.
Yeah.
So
So it's a 1 to a 0 or a 1 to 10?
1 to 6.
Oh,
So
1 to 6.
Yeah, so look at your ratio. So not ratio, but just look at your number, and your risk is accordingly. So I'm going to be much less risky
Sure.
for skin cancer, unless I make a practice to go to a tanning salon
Sure.
once a week, which I would never do.
Or you
right?
worked outside at a swimming pool all day
Right,
long.
I was a lifeguard, and my
Yeah.
nose would be fucked up, right? So with skin cancer, sorry, fucked up.
Your top lip's going to be fine.
Right. But you, my friend, you got to pick an indoor job, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So guys,
I go running and it hurts.
right. So you got to
I've
protect
noticed,
your scalp.
Right, I've noticed in the last 4 to 5, and I know I said this earlier, but I noticed in the last 4 to 5 years that as I've gone out for a run, even if it's kind of sunny, I get back in my head aches. It doesn't just it's not sunburn. It aches though.
Right.
So I have to wear a hat now everywhere I go.
Right.
So I rock a hat even in the winter. If there's
Right
clouds out, I'm like
Right.
they're it's light outside. Even
Right.
if there's sun or cloud cover, it's still, I can see my hand in front of my face. I got to wear a hat.
It's
Right.
penis for slavery.
Exactly. Thank God my family has like no roots. So we just barely came over like the 1920s. Thank God. Okay,
here we are. Here we go.
Totally guilt free.
We can do whatever we want.
Okay, but you, my friend, penance for slavery.
Yeah.
Yes, and the good thing is, seriously, come see me because you can do like a chemotherapy cream. It'll only attack the bad cells. So all those bad
love
cells that
that.
are lighting up with the sun exposure, we can slough them off and kill them. Like 90% of them can go
So
away.
if you don't, is that something that then turns into
Has the
cancer?
potential, absolutely.
Okay, because
has
it's
the potential.
pre-cancer, you said. right?
Correct. So there's like a spectrum. Again, not talking about melanoma. Melanoma
Right,
is
right,
its own
right.
bad boy off to the side, but carcinoma, which is incredibly common. This is like long-term sun damage, long-term DNA damage that will progress. Might not even be a problem until you're 70, but let's hope you live to 105, right?
My goal is 100.
Right. There you go.
Yep.
So this is like a mitigate a problem before it even happens. So
Gotcha.
it's a really easy problem to fix.
Oh, good. Jay.
Right on.
And that scale is, you said 1 to 6.
1 to 6, right on.
All right, so 6 is real dark. 1 is obviously wood.
Yeah.
And then like Asian people and you and me, we all fit in between.
We're like
that.
a 3, 4, 5, right on.
All right.
Less risk.
And
I've got a couple of
Why-
Asian
why-
kids, and they're like a 1.5, buddy. Okay.
why is that called the Fitzgerald scale?
Because the guy who invented it was named Fitzgerald. That's how it works.
okay.
And,
And
if
it
you
only
invent
goes
something
to a
cool,
6?
you get to name it after you. Yeah, I guess
Say that
so.
again?
It only goes. It was more of like a questioning statement. Like it only goes to a 6. I feel like it should go to at least an
20?
8. No, like at least an 8, because I don't. Yeah,
Different
Keith,
shades.
Yeah,
So
Keith is dark,
arbitrary.
but I don't feel like there's plenty of people that are a lot darker than Keith.
Right, so I called him a 5. So he's like a light skin, like a light
But
skin
within
African
that,
American.
5, there's 5.1, 0.2, right? Because
Well,
you
just
said
like a light, medium, dark 5. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
it
like
still feels like it's gonna.
unscientific.
Okay, fine, Mr. Fitzgerald. It still feels like he cut it.
It should be more.
It's fucking Irish.
Yeah. See, they're always cutting corners.
Oh man,
So overall, you enjoy what you do.
I
'Cause
absolutely love
sitting
my
here
job.
talking to you, you've been passionate about so many things.
Yes,
We'll
I'm-
say stupid shit, and
Oh,
you'll light
shit.
right up and go on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I can't
I have a
say enough.
story about every stupid topic
No.
we have.
You guys have really asked me more about 90% of what I don't do, but 90% of what I do is like a very thorough cancer screening for people who, there's no actually governmental regulation as to who should get a skin screening, like there is for, let's say,
Do you feel like there
prostate
should
or
be?
breast exam. There should be. I agree. Like there should be, as far as if you're a light skinned person with a specific history, family history, or tanning salons, or you work outdoors, whatnot. But I feel totally passionate because this is things that can be caught ahead of time. We can mitigate these problems before they're huge, save lives. It's honestly the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Let me
I'm
ask you
so
this question,
passionate
Doc.
about
So
it.
when somebody has skin cancer, so say I had one little thing on my forearm, how does that kill you? Does that skin cancer spread to my liver, to my kidneys, to my heart?
Become
or do I get more skin cancer and I die of skin cancer?
You end up with like
Yes.
thyroid cancer
I
because it's
see
on
what-
your
Right,
cheek or something
right.
like
on.
that.
So there's different types of skin cancer. There's carcinomas, which are more common, and those are very slow to metastasize. Like a basal cell may never metastasize. A squamous may possibly metastasize after like 30, 40 years. It depends on where it is.
What does that mean, metastasize?
Like go inside of your body.
So
right?
that's what kills you. It's not just
Right.
on your skin. It goes
No.
inside your body and
Correct.
says, "Oh shit, there's a whole new room in here. Let me go
Right.
live in this
So
bitch."
Exactly. So the
It travels
So
in
then
melanoma.
you get
blood.
brain cancer or
Right.
whatever.
So Bob Marley, melanoma, different animal altogether. That will metastasize. That will kill you within a short time.
Damn.
End of story. Right? Different types again. So somebody can develop malignant versus superficial.
Okay.
Superficial we can cure.
But you're
like
still gonna take it out, get rid of it.
right on.
Let's
right.
go.
So
Bob should have cut his toe off. Is that the way to? No, I'm not trying
Or
to be
his
funny.
foot.
I'm not trying to be
Should've
funny.
cut his damn foot
Yeah.
off.
That's what should have happened.
I don't know what stage he was caught in. Like I don't know if it's already advanced or whatnot.
Okay.
Should have hacked his
Really
foot
scary.
off.
But even my own son, I have an 11-year-old who has a what's called a melanonychia. It's like a black stripe in his toenail. That's something I'm just watching.
I saw that in your book.
Did you really?
I saw
That's
that.
so fucked up.
No, I saw that. It was straight up. The motherfucker looked like somebody took a marker and just
Yes.
painted right up.
That's so weird that you saw
What is that?
that's just like an abnormality of normal, right? So like we can have all sorts of abnormalities that will just straighten themselves out. You don't have to go get far into it, right? As long as it's not malignant, you can just kind of watch it and wait, right? That's the vast majority of almost everything, right? So my own son, the 11-year-old, has that stripe of dark, it's like a stripe, like somebody took a marker on his toenail, and I'm just watching it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to biopsy that. I'm going to watch it, right?
Watch it till what, though? At what point do you go, oh, motherfuck?
If it gets up to his knuckle,
we're chopping your foot off.
So right now it's just in his nail. So as long as it's not, branching out into his actual like the cuticle and the skin part, then I'm not going to worry about it. Because that's just a normal variation, right? We're human beings. We're not all perfect, right? We're not.
Our bodies have weird things.
Okay, other than you two, Wood and Keith, it's like, okay.
She sat across from a couple
from perfect people.
They're feeding me really nice whiskey. I'm gonna pump them up all day long. Let's just say right now, perfect specimens in front of me. But I'm just saying, the vast majority of human beings, we all have variations of normal. But the vast majority of everything you have is normal. If you have any questions, go see somebody about it, right? Get some reassurance. Do a biopsy. Verify that it's normal. The vast majority of everything you're worried about is normal, right? So my own son, he has this horrible, scary thing. I'm going to watch it, right? My own kids, they've got crazy shit, weird, batshit crazy moles. I'm going to watch them. I'm not going to freak out about it.
But it's stuff you recognize. That, like me, normally I'd be like, meh. Just another thing.
No, not the toe thing. So for somebody with a toe thing going on, whose kid has a toe thing, who's not a dermatologist, what do you recommend for them?
Come get verification, reassurance, and education.
I thought you were going to say paint a toenail.
No. Fucking cover it up now.
Dark shade of cherry red will take care of anything.
Come see me. I'll if it's scary, we'll biopsy. If it's not, we're going to watch it. We'll take a picture. We'll do what we call photo and follow. We'll watch it. We'll keep a close eye on it. Make sure it's not.
All right, so you're saying skin cancer, it's on your skin, and then it becomes malignant, and it attacks your cell. So skin cancer, here's my question, and here's what I don't understand, because I always thought about this. Skin cancer itself is not what kills you. Skin cancer is a precursor for other types of cancer.
Oof.
Am I right?
Not exactly.
I'm fucked up. All right, go.
Fuck, I don't know if we go all day, but again, there's carcinomas, which are like
right. I'm with that.
Different, but then your melanomas, that's gonna just like invade your whole body and take over your fucking. It's like body snatchers are gonna take over everything and just fuck it up. You'll die immediately.
So I'm not sure I'm understanding this. So skin cancer turns into another type of cancer.
No. You gotta know carcinoma, melanoma, different animals.
I thought I had that,
No.
but I don't. I'm wrong.
No. We have no
idea.
idea.
Can I sit next to you on the test, Doc?
Yes, you can copy off me.
And speaking of tests, you brought your... And before we wrap this up, because we've been going a minute, but we typically do on our mass offs, you brought your book there. And you had an idea in mind before we started this. And it's kind of unfortunate that we didn't get to this point. But what book is in front of you?
This is my favorite textbook. It's called Skin Diseases, Diagnosis and Treatment by Thomas Habif. And there's like 10 different books, variations of the same, but basically it's an alphabetical book about different types of skin issues and what to deal with it, like, very common diagnoses and treatments and whatnot. However, I love this book so much. It's in and around my house at any given day, and I've always thought to myself, even though I'm a boring person right now, but I had a really fun teens and 20s, I thought this would be a great drinking game. If you just open the book and flip to any random page, I promise you there's going to be a penis on it.
All right, let's go.
Okay, why?
So I think this would be a great drinking game. If
why
you end
are
up
there so many... Why are there so many penises in that book?
Because his skin gets rubbed off on
Because
you do have so many fucking problems.
You're down to your second layer of skin, buddy. You need to stop.
Because those STDs will show up when you don't expect it. Anyway, it's super funny because when I'm like reading at home and I'm flipping through it on the counter and my kid's doing homework, and he's like, "Why is there a penis in your book?"
So
I'm like, I don't know.
It's like super bad when he drew all those dicks.
Yeah. So everybody's quarantined at home right now. You can order a book, a skin disease book online. Have it shipped to your house. Yeah.
Learning.
Yeah, you're home educating. You have that sent to your house, and it's the perfect drinking game. Flip to any page. Do it right now, Doc. Flip to any page right now.
What if I don't find a penis?
Then we.
Oh my gosh, I found a penis. How about that?
You found a penis and a pussy.
Out of a vagina, okay.
I saw pussy.
Just like that,
Candidiasis
guys.
of the large skin folds. So basically, like, it's called intertrigo. This is very common. It happens to little kids and fat people underneath their breasts, and their skin folds, and the skin is touching each other. You get an overgrowth of different types of yeasts, and this is a very easy thing to treat, mostly just by keeping
By
it
taking
dry.
a bath.
So even a dermatologist said don't be fat. It's not just us, right?
I know.
To
In general,
bring this
being
full
fat
circle.
is bad for you. Shit.
Yes.
Fuck. I'm
Yes,
sorry
it
to
is.
tell you that.
Don't
Do
be
you want me to do it
sorry.
again? All right, I'm gonna do
During
it
this
again.
quarantine, do some fucking sit-ups,
Yeah,
right?
you
Shit.
got plenty of time.
know.
You got plenty of time right now.
Doc, I knew when I says to you, because we always ask our mask off guests, what do you want to drink?
Yep.
And this motherfucker said to me, and this is she's a 508, but that's close to 617. She said, I'll drink whatever you're drinking.
Yep.
I said, oh shit, because we never heard that before.
No,
Everybody always
no.
has a specific request. I'll drink whatever
you hand it to me?
whatever you're
Porter's
drinking. Doc,
Fantastic.
hand me that
whiskey.
bottle, Doc.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Best whiskey I've had ever.
So I went into the store and I got this fucking whiskey and I popped
Yeah.
that shit off, and Doc's been killing it. Good on her.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
Good on her.
Straight up. I mean, this Woods over here is mixing it with Coke. I'm having it straight. It
Bo-
is so good.
Bostonian's been drinking this shit straight.
Listen, Doc, you haven't been a part of this podcast long enough to know
Okay.
if,
She
Kills
drinks like
at
a
least
bitch.
half a bottle.
if shit doesn't have an umbrella, I hardly drink it. Okay?
Wood, with that, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Dr. Nancy, is that what you're saying?
Shit, I think it's the best whiskey I've ever had. Porter should totally sponsor you. I expect a case on your door in the morning, okay? This is the best whiskey I've ever had.
You heard it right
Straight rye
here.
whiskey.
You heard it right here, guys. Porters, sponsor. So what you saying?
Remain loyal, remain true.
And
Porter's
there it is.
whiskey.
That's where it is. Guys, we hate to wrap this episode up. We hate to.
Well, that's because these motherfuckers are sitting in the house.
Then they ain't doing shit.
They don't have pants on. They ain't fucking flush the toilet unless they take a shit.
Listen, I've been off for
Yellow, let it mellow.
I've been off
Use
for a
your
month.
Vaseline.
I've been off for a month and 2 days, and I only put pants on to come into the woodshed. Okay, so I got time.
Because we had a woman mask off.
That's
All right,
it.
If it's a guy
That's the
mask
only
off, you
one.
left your pants on.
These guys smell good. I just want to let you know for reference.
You smell my hands.
I can smell your cocoa butter from here.
Shit ain't working because I've been scrubbing it off.
You're so ashy. I would call your grandma
oh
right
my
now.
Gosh. Look like I've been rubbing
had to
fucking rocks on my
Gonna
hands.
get his ass whooped over here, guys. Well, I hope you liked this episode because I know we did. We had a great time here with the doc. We've been educating you guys through this COVID-19 quarantine era. And you should be very well educated on all of it. Now you know what you need to do to get your skin checked out. Go see the doctor, for hell's sakes.
Go see it.
That's it. And
Skin cancer's no fucking joke,
it's
man.
not. It's bad. I've
But
had friends
wait-
that had it, and it takes off half the damn face, half their head.
Where the quarantine locks up, though, where they lock up is that they're in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Doc, what about, like, chewing tobacco and shit?
You can get mouth cancer. For
Yeah,
sure.
Fuck yeah.
mouth cancer.
I'll tell you, wait,
Easy.
before we go, sorry.
Okay, yeah, no,
I just had
we're
a
on you.
patient like a couple days ago, and he's actually, no privacy violation, but he works at one of the liquor stores here locally.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, first of all, I heard a vicious rumor that the liquor stores were closed. Look, I'm already slurring. I'm like halfway down a bottle of porters. Anyway, he's like, fuck, that's bullshit. My breakfast club, the 12
They're
a.m.
essential.
shakers, those 12 a.m. breakfast club shakers, their hands are shaking by noon. When they open the door, I was like, fuck, no, we're not closing for those guys. That'll be fucking disastrous, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those guys, liquor stores open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Decreased hours. Look at your local schedule. Anyway, that guy he's a smoker for life, chews tobacco. His horrible growth on his inner lip. I shaved it off. It's not cancer, but it's like not exactly cancer. It's like the cells are so bizarre.
I don't know what that means.
There's like a gray area, right? So he's gonna come back. He might get half his lip taken off. It's okay. We're gonna fix him up. But basically, the moral of the story is
So it's shut.
so it's
So, I've
but
been-
then think about the ramifications of that in a more profound sense. There's no more blowjobs. It's really sad. Anyway,
Just poke a hole in his cheek. So I've heard that they teach people how to have sex in a colostomy hole.
oh God,
So there.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So
It's a whole different program.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
You really get to read it the wrong one.
There's tobacco chew, and then there's the salt nicotine chews. Have you
Yeah.
heard of those?
No, I don't even know what you're talking
Apparently,
about.
it's no tobacco. It's only salted. It's only the nicotine salts.
I can't imagine nicotine's got to be bad for you. Any which way.
Okay.
Just
Anyway,
don't fucking do it.
Yeah, don't. It
But
doesn't
basically,
matter. It
any
kills
of it,
your
like
skin.
if you're worried about it, if you have the risk factors, you smoked, you tanned, you work outside, come see us. Like most likely, it's a pre-cancer we can fix, or it's a cancer. Let's get rid of it while it's small. Go see somebody. Don't ignore it. You guys are so into denial. Fuck. Go check it out.
And you're speaking to our demographic, by the way.
About denial. And
all you
Yeah.
California surfer dudes, all you dudes that get lots of sun, all you white pasty Utah
All of our
boys,
Gen
California
X,
boys.
baby
come see
boomers,
us.
go
Yes.
your ass
Skin
in.
cancer
Come see
has
us.
4 stages as well.
No, different melanoma, but I'm talking about regular carcinomas. No, just get it out.
Just
Come
get it
see
out.
us, yeah.
There it is, guys. Go get your skin checked out. It's easy. Get yourself an appointment. Go get yourself checked out because
It's much easier to deal with when it's small rather than big, unlike other things in life.
So,
oh damn, that's what I've been saying for years. I love it. Someone finally validated me.
so be like me and be a hypochondriac. When you think
Yes.
you got Michael Jackson,
Yes.
show up.
Yeah.
If you think you got skin cancer, show up.
Yes.
Because you laughed at me when I walked in there. And I was like,
did.
Doc, I got
I
Michael
did.
Jackson. You're like, I was like, hey, look, I'm not trying to fuck up. I mean,
Thank you for the copay.
Looks like
Easy
a fucking-
copay,
and
thank
see
you.
you later.
Yeah.
Because you're an idiot. Anyway, guys, go get your skin checked out. Keep your ears to this podcast to find out what's going on with Tiger Claw Tattoo. We know they're in this whole shutdown season, so when they're back up, we're going to let you know with that. Always listen to the podcast. You know what? I understand that you're with your families and you're with your kids, and you might, there's a little bit of language.
educate them. Fuck it. Educate them little brat bastards.
Listen, if I could play Tupac in front of my children and they're fine and they're better off for it, y'all could play this podcast in your house and they'll be better off for it. And so with that, you know where we're at. Hit us up on the email. We love our post mask off emails. That's at SoWhutChuSayin@gmail.com. We are at SoWhutChuSayin.com. That takes you all the social medias out there. And then anchor.fm/SoWhutChuSayin. We understand you're on hard times, but if any one of you out there would love to contribute, we always appreciate that. And thank you for those that do. And with that, Keith, Dr. Nancy, I got to tell you guys, it has been a pleasure.
We out.
So what